Joe Rogan Podcast, check it out.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Train by day, Joe Rogan Podcast by night, all day.
Good to see you, man. What's happening?
What is really happening?
Your show was fucking great.
Thank you.
I really enjoyed it.
I'm so happy to hear that. What that means to me is even on an off night, we're still pretty
That
damn
was an
good.
off night?
Way off.
Really?
Bad sound.
Sound was bad?
For me.
Sounded good.
We have high standards.
I guess. I mean, it was excellent.
Thank you.
So what else was wrong? The sound?
Well, I like to dance, and I like to get the mojo flowing at maximum photon speed.
Right.
And my knee was locked up, so I couldn't fully flow, which is disconcerting, and it actually throws my singing off as well. But
Well, we talked afterwards about your knee injury, but while you were on stage, I didn't notice anything. You moved great.
I can move better, but thanks. The good news for me is I'm surrounded by John, Chad, and Flea, which is just like a huge uplifting energy circle. So they carry me.
Yeah. How
Yeah.
did you injure your knee? Is it just from all the years of dancing on stage?
Pounding
Yeah.
on stage for 100 years, yeah.
You know Maynard from Tool? He's got a artificial hip.
Mm-hmm.
Stomping.
From stomping.
From stomping on stage, he blew his fucking hip out.
I'm not surprised. What I am surprised is that Mick Jagger hasn't blown both of his hips out.
Oh, man. We saw him when he was at CODA, the Circuit of the Americas here in Austin. It was insane. First of all, it was like a psychedelic experience just seeing him. Because you can't believe that's really Mick Jagger up there. Like, that's the fucking Rolling Stones. They were incredible. And he's still dancing around. He's as old as Biden.
He's as old as...
You need to understand.
Which is an official expression, by the way.
Yes. I mean, he's like commensurate. It's like, I think he's basically the same age, right? Like, what is Biden? Biden's like 78. And I think Mick Jagger is like 78 as well. I think he's in the neighborhood, right? How old is he? You could ask your friend.
I think it's because
He's 79.
79.
Jeez.
He's so light.
Yeah.
His bone structure, his anatomy is light.
Yeah.
And he's written a song or two.
Oh, yeah.
He's older by 4 months or so.
He's older than Biden.
Yeah.
That's insane.
As you said, he's older than Biden.
But meanwhile, he talks great.
No, he's not. No, he's not. I'm sorry.
No?
No, I misread that.
They're twins.
Biden's older by like 8 months.
Oh, okay.
November
Biden's
42
old.
versus
Those
July
8 months are a
43.
motherfucker. The 8 months
We'll
are the
see.
difference.
You and I shall see.
Hopefully, we'll see.
Yeah.
If we're lucky.
We need those black...
How old are you now?
I am looking at 60.
Looking at it.
I'm looking at it.
Yeah.
2 weeks away.
Wow.
Yeah.
How's it feel? You look great.
I feel... Thank you. You look great, too.
Thank you.
Yep. I don't know how old you are, but...
55.
Oh, wow. You look real good.
Thank you.
Yeah. We could grapple later. It feels wonderful. It feels so good. If I can do what I want to do for the next 20, 30 years, I'm just hallelujah.
It's just a matter of the joints. The joints holding up.
I think they're going to repair. I
Yeah?
think they're going to repair. I went hard last night, and I feel better today than I did when I saw you a week ago.
Oh, well, that's great. Did you get any treatments done on the knee or anything?
Osteopathy.
Osteopathy. What is that?
Osteopathy is a medicine, a hands-on medicine, where you have to study for 12 years before you can touch a patient. And they study anatomy, connectivity, all tissues, all bones. And this girl is French, Lucille, and she gets in there and she starts feeling the hamstrings connected to the knee bones, connected to the calf things, connected to the arch of your foot. And she just starts allowing your body to heal. So she makes some space with her hands and her mind.
Her mind.
Oh, yeah, you have to be focused. There's a concentration to it. It's not the biggest part, but it's a part. You're looking at me?
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, I had a frozen shoulder. I went to every doctor in the world, nothing.
Oh, really?
3 visits with Lucille.
You know what's great for shoulders is hanging from your hands.
Yeah.
A chin-up bar.
Yeah.
It's really good for that.
Sounds good.
If you have frozen shoulders, impingements, and things like that. And there's a theory that, as we are primates, our ancestors swung from trees and hung on trees, and that the joint expresses itself better when it's like constantly put through a range of motion and hanging from things. And people, especially people with sedentary lifestyles that never really put that kind of like where your body weight sort of stretches out your joints can kind of collapse and they get impinged and they get kind of fucked up.
I hear that. That makes sense. We are primates, and it's also mental. Your brain depends on walking. So old school us, we would walk all day, every day.
Right.
However, 20, 30 miles, and it's good for your brain. It keeps the Alzheimer's away. You stop walking, the brain kind of freezes up.
Yeah, that's true. Activity is one of the very best ways to fight off all sorts of mental degeneration. Yeah.
Yes. And music.
Yeah, well, that's why, you look so great at 60 because you're always bouncing around and moving. And I feel bad for people that aren't, like, active, because you will deteriorate to a point where you're not going to be able to bring it back. If you can maintain, it's so much better to maintain than it is to try to rebuild.
Agreed. People need a push. People need an inspiration. They need something that they love, and they need maybe somebody to do it with.
Right. They need something fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the key. Like, some people love running, some people love skiing. Like, whatever you love, like doing something that you really enjoy doing that keeps you active, I think is a great key to that.
I need the push.
You've been, when did you start? You've basically been doing music your whole life.
I feel like I started late, relatively speaking.
Relatively.
Yeah. So,
but you've been performing since you were how old?
83, which would put me at 21.
It's pretty young.
But my friends had been studying and playing and practicing music since they were 10, the guys that I hooked up with musically. So 21 is kind of like, you already have to have started music. Like with a sport. If you start at 21, it's kind of late in the game.
That's true.
So I just got lucky that I had been studying other things that fed into music. So I had something to say. I had rhythm. I had love for dance, love for sound, love for my friends. But I have been performing since I was 21.
It's a long time to be in the public eye, living that life.
It is, and it's both wonderful and horrific at the same time. The public eye specifically.
Yeah.
I don't think I would trade it because it comes with joy and perks, and it's a unique experience. But I love my anonymity to pieces.
Yeah.
I love going out in the world and just not
Can you still do that?
Yes, not often, but when I do, I love it.
When you can sneak by?
I'm not even sneaking.
I mean, you don't have to sneak, but
I think it's the anti-sneak approach that makes you invisible. You go about your business and maybe you just blend in. Los Angeles, California is the place where I get noticed and mess with the least.
Because they're so used to famous people there.
Jaded.
Yeah.
In a bubble, self-obsessed.
Right.
They could care less. The minute I walk around New York City, hey, Kiedis, caught you on the TV, whatever.
Yeah, completely different sort of scenarios with giant masses of people. The New York mass of people is not connected to show business.
No.
So you have less of the self-obsession.
And they love seeing people that they relate to.
Right.
And they'll let you know about it. They'll stop the car. Yes.
Yeah. But the Los Angeles scene, yeah, that's so true. That's one of the reasons why a lot of people that are famous actually enjoy living in Los Angeles, because people are jaded, and you can, it's kind of
hang out.
People don't care; they leave you alone.
I agree. I miss you as a fellow resident. I understand, but yeah, L.A. geographically, it's gorgeous. It's a harsh toke these days.
It's different. I got out in, we started looking in May of 2020, like right when they expanded, 2 weeks to flatten the curve, and it got to a month and a half, and I was like, oh, this is not going away. and I started seeing that there was other places where they were taking a more sane approach. I immediately started looking.
Mm-hmm.
But I had been thinking about getting out of LA anyway. Just that I get anxiety about the sheer numbers of people. There's the traffic, just the untenable volume of human beings was just like there's a certain level of anxiety that comes with that.
Mm-hmm.
That when I would go to other places, like if I would go to Montana or I would go to like Utah, it was like, oh, this feels better. Like this is relaxing. There's like less humans.
I hear that. You did live in the boondocks, did you not?
I lived a little outside. Like I didn't live in the city, but so it was nice that I got my little break there.
Mm-hmm.
But I was always aware it was around the corner. It was always there. I mean, I was living near. There was a lot of like owls and coyotes and mountain lions. There's a lot of shit out where I live.
Those are my people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are my people. You're
Those are
naming my
your
people.
creatures.
Yes.
Yeah. There's a lot of that here. Yeah.
Yeah, the traffic thing is hell. I ride a motorcycle to circumvent as much of it
Do
as
you
possible
really?
every day.
Wow.
Every day unless it's freezing or raining.
That is a wild thing to do in Los Angeles, to ride a motorcycle, because there's so many people on their phone and there's so many cars. You just have to be defensive.
It's normal to me.
Yeah?
It's second nature.
Have you always ridden a motorcycle?
I started off crashing mini bikes through backyard fences in Michigan, and I put it down for a while. And then sometime in the 80s, Chad Smith showed up on a Suzuki. And I was like, let me try that big bike. And I was hooked.
Wow.
Yes.
So you just get around on motorcycles?
I do, on a cop bike.
Really?
Yeah, it's the bike that the California Highway Patrol use.
So it's a big cruiser.
It's big. It has a windshield. It's fast. It handles like a magic carpet.
Yeah?
Yeah, I love it.
Wow.
Yes.
Do you have a car too, or do you only...
No, I have a couple of cars, but it's a pain in the ass, like to go down the PCH and just wait for an hour to go somewhere.
That's the thing about LA too. You're allowed to split the lanes.
And people are starting to recognize, like, oh, there's a bike. I have to make space.
Yeah. Well, that's nice.
Yes.
Some people are dicks, though. They just like...
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
scoot over so you can't go by.
I have moments. It's also an opportunity to see where I'm at as a human being. Like, do I want to kill these people, or do I just want to
Forgive them.
just forgive them and carry on with my life?
Yeah,
not
that's
worry about it.
better.
It's better.
It's a little opportunity to just exercise that aspect of your thought.
Yeah. Also in a car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Who am I?
Well, that's one of the nice things about here. Like, people let you in. It's so different. They let you in the lane. They wave. It's like it's a different, they're more friendly. People feel like, I think in Los Angeles, the problem is there's so many human beings that human beings become a bother. Like, God, there's so many people. Whereas here, it's only like 1 million people. So it's like people are just a little bit more appreciative of each other. There's not that level of tension.
This is what I hear. I had a conversation with Guy on the way over here, who's kind of investigating options. Texas, nice, no taxes. And I was like, well, what do you like about it? What's your main attraction? And he said, people are kinder. People are more thoughtful.
Yeah, and I don't think that's something that people would necessarily associate with Texas.
Mm-hmm.
But they call it Texas friendly. That's like literally how they describe it.
There is no LA friendly.
Not really, unfortunately. There's some friendly people. On the plus side is when you do meet a person who's friendly, you really appreciate it. It's like a sunny day in Seattle.
Yeah.
You know?
Good point.
They mean a lot to you. If
Yep.
you could find a really kind, cool person in Los Angeles, it means a lot.
Well noted.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what's the horrific aspect of being famous for so long?
Lack of anonymity.
So that's the big one for you.
Yes. I really have no complaints. I love my job so much. I don't know what I did to deserve it, but it is.
You're really good at it. That's what you did to deserve it.
I do work hard, but I was taught how to work hard by my boys in the band because they all work hard, really hard.
You could tell.
They're obsessed. They're obsessed with practicing and learning and pushing the boundaries and evolving and tapping into that which you cannot see or totally understand. Horrific. Maybe I exaggerated with the word horrific.
It's a good word, though.
It's a good word. It's got the word horror. I know you like some horror. Yeah, it's not really horrific if I think about it.
No.
I take that back.
It's just inconvenient sometimes, maybe.
Sometimes I'm shy and bashful and reclusive, and I just want to chill. And people want to take pictures or have me talk to their girlfriend on the phone. Or Small price. This brings me to my new philosophy in life, which I remind myself every day. Can I give it to you?
Please.
So 2 months ago, we were playing at the MetLife Stadium in New Jersey. Big, beautiful stadium full of people excited to sing and dance. And these two painter sisters from Texas, raised in Manhattan, brought their friend to the show. We're like, great, come and we'll hook you up with tickets and passes. Come say hello. Beautiful people. And the girl they brought was radiant in every aspect of the word. Physically beautiful, energy, kindness, just light. And all of my friends are like, who's that girl? That girl's amazing. Just a friend of our painter friends. And a week went by, and I opened the paper, and I saw this girl had died unexpectedly. 33-year-old actor, model, artist. Wow. And she woke up and died. And they're not sure why. Maybe sepsis. Who knows? Young people are dying these days. And I thought to myself, I woke up today and I complained about how long my room service took, how muggy it was outside, and the traffic. And I decided this girl was just a giver of a human being, and she got plucked. So I said to myself, don't be a bitch. Nothing to do with gender or animals, just bitchliness, selfishness, self-obsessed, self-centered, whiny.
Weakness.
Yeah. And what do I have to complain about?
Right.
Very little.
Relatively speaking, it's almost like you can't complain.
Can't complain.
Yeah.
I mean, let's look around the world.
Yeah.
Syria, Yemen, Ukraine.
Right.
On and on.
Yeah.
So every time I go there, which is daily, I wake up and I'm like, where's my thing? And how come these people aren't doing what I want them to do? The voice comes into my head, don't be a bitch.
Right.
So that's my new live by philosophy.
It's a good philosophy. It's hard for people sometimes to have perspective, because your life is your life, and any little irritation, if you just allow momentum to take you in that general direction, which is a lot of what people do, they sort of operate on momentum. They don't think, they just react. And then you lose perspective. Mm-hmm. It's hard sometimes to pull it back. And do you meditate at all?
I do meditate at all. Not enough, but I do, and I love it, and it's my go-to.
Yeah.
And I believe in it. Rick Rubin actually shared the art of meditation with me when I was a kid, younger, early 90s. He brought the TM Institute into his living room and offered the whole band an opportunity to learn. And we were so crass and obnoxious that we laughed through the entire lesson. This, East Indian guy's up there with a chalkboard pointing at sound waves and different transcendental meditation concepts, and we're just laughing obtrusively. Can't stop. But it wasn't because we didn't feel it or understand it or believe in it. It was just the presentation itself. But it stuck, and we got our mantras, and we got our practice, and I did it religiously for a while, and then I put it down. But now whenever I feel like the monkey mind in a car, in a plane, in a train, in my bathtub, in a tiny little kid's chair somewhere on the back porch, I'll take 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and it's profound.
Yeah.
You?
Yeah, I do. I do. I like to do it in different places. I do it a lot of times in the sauna. I like to do deep breathing exercises in the sauna, so I'm kind of uncomfortable at the same time. And also, like, I multitask, kill two birds with one stone that way.
Yeah.
But it allows me to resetting, like, and just having time alone with your thoughts. I have friends in show business that are never alone, and they're the most troubled, I find, because they don't have space to just sit and just sort of put it all into perspective and bring yourself back to baseline and appreciate it. And sometimes you just constantly, look what I was talking about, momentum. That's a real problem with people. So that you're doing things and things are happening and you keep going, and then the stresses of these things compile and pile on, and you never have a chance to step back and go, wow, what a wild ride I'm on. This is incredible. This is amazing. I should be so thankful and so appreciative. Instead, you're just so caught up. My agent said, what? And what am I doing? Why do we have to be there then? And you have to bring it back to baseline, appreciate where you're at, and say, wow, how lucky. How lucky just to be a human in 2022. What a great time. You don't die of cholera. What a great time with all the medicine and fucking technology and all the, obviously there's downsides to all that stuff too, but pretty fucking good time to be alive. What a great roll of the dice to be here and to be an American in this place where you're free to pursue your goal. You don't have to wear a headscarf. You're not like in a religious autocrat society where you're told what to do, which happens in 2022. So you're in this place, as imperfect as it is, which provides you with an immense amount of freedom. We're fucking so fortunate. So fortunate.
We're fortunate at this very moment.
Yes.
However, Steve Van Zandt is required to wear a headscarf.
Oh, he has to.
Yeah.
That's part of his gig, though.
It's New Jersey.
Yeah.
It's a law.
Well, Well, seeing him on The Sopranos with the fucking wig on, it was like, wow.
Ooh.
It's pretty, he was amazing. Isn't it amazing when someone's a really great musician but also can act their ass off?
He did great. I think it was very custom for his sensibility. And he's a good musician. I respect him as a musician, no doubt. Not that he cares. But he's an even better musical historian.
Is he?
His radio show, Underground Garage.
Oh, that's right.
Oh,
Yeah.
my God.
I've heard it's amazing.
Breaks it down. The players, the people, the producers, the eras, the cities, the what led to what led to what. He's good.
I really appreciate musicians that have a deep appreciation for the history of music and other, like, who's great about that? Henry Rollins. That motherfucker loves music so much. He has this incredible stereo system in his house, this amazing collection of records, and he has a radio show as well. I'm not sure if he's still doing it, but when I had him on the podcast to talk to him about his love of music and love of collecting records and everything, just the fucking excitement in his voice and the passion in his eyes, the way he describes these things, it's so infectious.
It's infectious. It's also a beautiful subject, a historical subject to spend your life studying.
Wow. Well, you're in it, right? You are a musician, but to someone observing it from the outside like myself, it's one of the more fascinating aspects of human culture is that people create sounds and you create them with lyrics and you put it together in this way that literally acts as a drug. Like it makes people feel good.
That's why
there's something about that. There's something about it. When the music, like when a song comes on that you haven't heard in a long time, like Midnight Rider, like the Allman Brothers, like the beginning, doom 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 doom. You're like, holy shit, that fucking song! Like, woo! You get it's a drug.
Yes,
it's a drug.
Well, literally, your brain is releasing its serotonin,
and there's something that we've come to expect because it's a normal part of life. We all listen to music. But there's moments where you can just step outside of it and realize like how amazing the creation of music is. It's so amazing.
That's why I became a musician, because of the high that I got from listening to Henry Rollins, Black Flag, drinking black coffee. Made me feel so alive, so full of everything, so drugged up. I want to make people feel like that. Defunct made me dance like lightning bolts on the dance floor. I want to make people feel like that. That was my number one motivation. And the love of my found family, my high school boys, just wanting to hang out with them. But more than anything, it was I heard the message by Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five. And I just wanted to roll down the street lighter than air. How do I make people feel like that? How can I be a part of something that makes people feel like floating down the street?
It really is. It's a drug. It's a super positive, creative drug that makes you incredibly connected to the people that make it. You know, I mean, I was watching the, I don't know if you've seen the Elvis movie, the new movie on Elvis.
Did not.
Pretty interesting.
I have my own movie of Elvis in my head that I didn't want to change.
Right.
But go ahead.
I don't think it'll change it.
All right.
I mean, it's, you know, it's dramatization. It's obviously Tom Hanks is the Colonel. You're seeing Tom Hanks.
That's decent casting.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah.
Oh, he's great in it. He's great in it. It's really good. It's really good. I mean, it leaves out a lot. Kind of glosses over a lot of shit. But you realize that the reaction that these people are having to his music, it's like, and everybody's like, what the fuck is going on? It's like they're all on drugs. Like all these women are on drugs. They're screaming, they're throwing panties at him. And back then, there wasn't really someone like him before him. You know, so he comes around and they all freak out because it's a new drug. And it's this new feeling that you get from this creation, this, you know, combination of artists and music and sounds delivered by this one guy. And he's saying, you ain't nothing but a hound dog. And they're all going, crah!
That's what I have been.
Wild.
Elvis is great. It took me so long to realize how good he was. Part of my fuel as a teenager and young 20s was just hate of other people's art. Like, we'll show you. We'll make something different and better. And
Yeah.
which is positive. It has to happen. You have to rebel against that which has come before you at a certain point.
Yeah.
But as I got older, I realized this man is the real deal. As was Little Richard, as were the
yeah.
Everly Brothers, as were all the boys that led up to Elvis.
Sure.
Flea and I went to Graceland in the early 80s. We were on tour. We were in a van. We hadn't slept on a bed for months. All we had was the leather jackets on our back and nothing else. But we were like in Memphis playing a show, you know, probably in a barn or something. And we're like, didn't Elvis have a house here? Can't we go walk through his house? So we went to Graceland when it was not commercialized. It was a very small little tour. You could walk right through the house, into his cars, the garage. There were no restrictions. And I went in there and I was so obnoxious and so horrible because all these people were just in awe of every little element of Elvis's life. I was like, isn't this where he took a shit on the toilet and like OD'd on pills? And because I was just a little idiotic punk rocker who had no broader sense of greatness and how people might be relating to this guy.
Yeah.
It's just a stupid little memory I feel embarrassed about, but that's who I was at the time.
Well, that's so normal for young artists to hate on art that they think is uncool or commercial or derivative. Like, that was the knock on Elvis. He was derivative of black culture. But what's he going to do? That's what he likes. You know, he's like, he's affected and influenced by those people, and he's creating his own music. Like, what is he supposed to do? Not do it? Obviously, people loved it. It was amazing. But I get the resentment from those artists. I understand that. But there's a thing from young people coming up where you just want to hate on the things that you think are uncool, you know?
We made a career out of that for a couple of years. But as far as like borrowing and using culture that you love, which can be construed as appropriation, I'm all for it. I want to be appropriated. And I think that's what culture is for.
Yes.
Enjoying and loving and learning and taking and assimilating.
Yeah, it should be that.
We went to it should be that. I want to dress like you because you look great.
I mean, it should be that with art, with food, with everything, with architecture.
Appropriate on.
Yeah, I mean that's literally we are building on the backs of the people that came before us. All of us are in everything we do, in the way we talk, in literature, in everything. We build upon the people that came before, and this idea of cultural appropriation being a negative thing to me is preposterous. Like it's a respect. You don't culturally appropriate things that you don't love.
It's a love.
You love those things, you know?
Yes.
If you're cooking Mexican food and you happen to be Dutch, like who gives a shit, man?
That's not going to be good Mexican, but yes.
It might be. Who's that guy, Rick Bayless? He's Skip Bayless's brother.
What?
Right? Skip Bayless's brother. Rick Bayless is like one of the premier Mexican food chefs in the world. And he's an American. And people shit on him because this guy has like this deep love of Mexican cuisine. It's very infectious.
Don't shit on him,
He
please.
makes all, I mean, not physically. He makes all these videos and he talks about, I mean, he's like famous. So he's got a restaurant in Chicago. There's like this famous Mexican restaurant. This is the guy. But this guy, he's like super into Mexican food. Is that his Instagram? Yeah. Rick_Bayless. Yeah.
So it's really all about the burrito. Can he make a good burrito?
I bet he can make anything, man.
Okay.
That fucking guy loves Mexican food. I mean, but it's real. It's a real love. Like, what do you want him to do? Not do it?
I want him to do it.
Yeah, but imagine people that are mad at him. Like, don't do what you love because you
what you
weren't
love.
born on the same patch of dirt
Nope.
as the people. Come on, it's crazy.
No, I love appropriating.
Yeah.
I've been doing it my whole life, and I love it. I'll never stop. We went to a Native American reservation last Wednesday, to play a show. And about 9 months ago, we were putting out all this music, and Flea had been to a powwow. And he's like, the dancing blew me away. They're so dedicated. They're so beautiful, so artful. It's like, we got to get to a reservation and play music. I was like, great idea. Let's do it. So it finally came to pass last Wednesday, and somehow we chose the Hoopa tribe in Northern California, in Hoopa Valley, California. And we arrive, and it's a school gymnasium, and it's a free concert, and all of our equipment is there, and it's just cool people. They're very poor and very isolated, and we just wanted to go rock out for them. But the first thing they did was give us all this cool stuff that they made, which is Native American gear, and they wanted us to wear it. They're not worried about appropriation. We could sing songs all day long about our take, like my band, on their experience. They love it. If we get it right, if we get it wrong, they just love that we care. And it was the best show of the year for us because nobody paid. It was kids in a school gymnasium in the middle of nowhere. Surreal. They didn't believe we were coming. They're like, we don't believe it. Why? Why us? We're like, we chose you. Let's just have fun.
That's amazing.
But they definitely defied the concept of appropriation, like right off the bat. Here's our stuff. Please wear it.
Well, I think that's great. Like, they loved the fact that you appreciated their culture.
We love the culture. We love it. And, you know, people are people. I don't care what class you come from, what race you come from, what gender you come from. People are people. You're going to be assholes and you're going to be amazing people. Just people are people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the variables, the differences. That's one of the cooler things.
Of course.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want everybody to assimilate and become one thing. But I do love the fact there are so many there's so much variety of types of cultures. There's so much.
Thank God.
Thank God. It's one of the cooler things about humans. There's so much there's so many different ways to live life.
It's one of the cooler things about the USA.
Yeah.
That was our secret weapon to being a culturally interesting place.
Yeah.
That invented things like jazz and the blues and rock and roll.
Stand-up comedy.
Stand-up comedy.
Yeah. It's an American art form.
Yes, because we have the great confluence of everybody.
Everybody together.
Everybody.
Yeah.
I love all these other countries we visit on tour, but it's one flavor. It's primarily one flavor. And then you get here, and it's the appropriated, assimilated melting pot.
Yeah, it really is. It's a wild place to be. We're very fortunate in that regard. Maybe even Texas barbecue. Texas barbecue comes from Germany.
What?
Yeah, it's Germans.
Okay.
The Germans that moved to this part of Texas, they smoked their meats, and they changed it a little bit and adapted it, and it ultimately became Texas barbecue. But like Texas barbecue, like brisket, like brisket is a cheap cut of meat. Brisket was for poor people. And so, everybody, the expensive cuts of meats like T-bones and ribeyes, right? Well, brisket, they had to figure out how to cook it and make it edible. And because it's a tough, brisket is like the below the rib cage, like chest area. It's like a tough, like kind of, like gristly, not that much fat in it. And so they figured out cooking it slowly over low heat and doing it with smoke. And that's how they created Texas brisket, which is now like the preferred meat. You go to a barbecue, everybody wants the brisket.
I got introduced to brisket through the Jewish community.
Yes, they love it too.
I always thought it was Jewish. I didn't even realize it was a German. Texas barbecue
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's different chains of it, right? That's what's interesting. Like corned beef and, like pastrami, very Jewish, right?
Yes.
And that's their way of cooking that food. And if you go to Montreal, they call it smoked meat, and you get like smoked meat sandwiches, and it's basically like pastrami and corned beef, and they have their version of it up there. It's delicious.
Have you considered starting a wild animal barbecue establishment?
It's so funny that you say that because I actually have. I actually talked to my friend Philip Franklin Lee, who's he's a Michelin star chef who he started this place, Sushi Bar ATX, and now he runs Sushi by Scratch, which is literally the most amazing sushi I've ever had in my life. And he's got a new burger place out here that he just opened. What's it called? Not a Chance Burgers? Is that what it's called?
Not a Damn Chance.
Not a Damn Chance Burgers. Fantastic chef. And he and I actually talked about that. Because one of the things about Texas as opposed to most other states is that you can actually sell wild game here because wild game that's not indigenous to Texas, they have a lot of introduced species. Like there's an insane amount of animals that they've introduced into private ranches in Texas that have come from Africa and India, and like animals that are like endangered in other countries are prevalent here. Like oryx, like a scimitar oryx. It's very endangered. I think, where are they from? From India or Africa? They're very endangered wherever they're from. Here, they're common.
Sounds like a deer.
It's like like an antelope.
Yeah.
It's like they're wild looking creatures. So pull up a scimitar, or it's like almost like looks like it's kind of in the goat family or something. They're crazy looking things. Scimitar oryx. Africa?
North.
Well, North Africa. Look at that thing. That is a wild looking animal, right? Well, in Texas, they're common. A lot of people have them, but wherever what part of North Africa they're from, there's more tigers in captivity in Texas in private collections.
How many?
Than there are in all of the wild of the world.
What's that number?
Thousands.
Thousands.
Yeah. I think it's somewhere between 3,000 and 5,000. There you go. I got one on my arm too, bro.
Yes. Year of the Tiger.
I have a tiger with Miyamoto Musashi from the Book of Five Rings.
Okay.
Do you know what that is?
I don't.
He's
Sounds
a
Japanese.
samurai from the 1400s who defeated 62 men in one-on-one combat. And he wrote a book on strategy that I read when I was a teenager, when I was doing martial arts competitions.
Cool.
It's called The Book of Five Rings. And it sort of shaped my philosophy in many ways on life. Because as a samurai, he believed that to be the best sword fighter, you had to be balanced. You had to do calligraphy and poetry and art. And you couldn't have any like holes in your game, your mental game, your spiritual game. And
I like that.
And he had a statement that a thing that he wrote that carried me throughout my whole life. It's once you understand the way broadly, you can see it in all things. And the idea is the way of sword fighting was much like the way of carpentry, was much like the way of art. You see what the way is. It's like get out of your own way and see the path to greatness, see the path to creation, and that you can find it in all things. So once you see it, once you truly understand it, you're not bullshitting yourself, you're not filled with ego, you're not filled with false bravado and fake confidence. Get out of that. Once you see the path, you'll see it in everything. It's like you see a pattern, and that pattern is of creation and I think you recognize that. It's one of the things that I love about great things. When I see something great, whether it's great piano playing or someone who's great at chess or someone's great, I love seeing the path and seeing someone who just like finds the thing to express whatever the energy inside of them is.
You do have to get out of your own way.
Got to get out of your own way.
You really do.
And people that don't get out of their own way, it's so sad. Like I have friends that don't get out of their own way. I'm like, oh, I wish I could tell you how to do that.
Did I see your man in the lobby? The Book of Five Rings chap? Is he pictured?
The armor? There's a painting, a Greg Overton samurai painting, but it's not necessarily Musashi.
Okay.
This is Musashi. That's him.
Okay.
That's him with the tiger.
Yeah. Did he study animals?
No,
to figure out
my buddy Aaron Delavadova, who's the tattoo artist that did that. He came up with this design. Just like
it's nice to have a tiger.
Yeah, tigers are always cool. But anyway, Texas.
So circling back,
you can get wild game here, and you can sell it. So there's a lot of restaurants here. There's a great place called the Lonesome Dove here in Austin, and Lonesome Dove actually serves wild game, Texas wild game. They serve they have rattlesnake sausage, and
I would eat that.
Nilgai, which is an Indian animal. It's really cool looking. Have you ever seen a Nilgai?
Mm-mm.
Show that. I'm actually going hunting for one of these things, and with the television show Meat Eater in December. But a Nilgai is this enormous, 700-pound, crazy antelope-looking thing. Look at that. That's a Nilgai.
Looks meaty.
Isn't that wild looking?
Buff. Powerful.
You were a vegetarian for a while, right?
So on the subject of food,
yeah,
I love food. I love eating food.
Who doesn't?
I love it. I eat it all day. And I really respect everybody's choice to find their path for eating. I don't impose my concepts of eating on other people. I want everyone to find what works for them because we're all different.
Right.
We all have different metabolisms, different genetics.
Absolutely.
And it has been a fantastic journey of trying everything under the sun. For the longest time, I just ate whatever you had. I was so poor and so hungry. Whatever you're cooking, that's what I ate. That's my diet. And then when it got to the point where I started learning about food, I met a girl and her family was vegetarian. And she was so full of love, Ione Sky, love and light and just a good person and her whole vibe in the family house. I was like, I'll try that. So I did the vegetarian for a few years, got poor again and started eating whatever was available to sustain. And then I tried everything, pescatarian, vegan, and my body just never totally vibed with any of those things perfectly. Then I met this girl, Terry Cochran, who's a scientist and a nutritionist. And she studies your genes, 23andMe, takes days to study your genes, and plans out your food based on your genetics. And for me, it was wild frickin' animals. That's what I was resonating with. She's like, I want you to eat alligator, elk, moose, kangaroo. I was like, really? She's like, yes, all the injuries you're having are going to sort out for you. I was like, I'll try it. And the pandemic hit. I went to Kauai. I hired a chef who could source all of those things. Half of these pictures you're showing, antelope. And I had no choice but to eat it because that's all that was in my fridge. The dude would cook and leave me food. I felt the best I've ever felt in my life. The strongest, the fastest, the sharpest, mental clarity. So that's my diet now.
Well, it's the most nutrient-dense food on Earth. If you get wild game, it has the most protein, the most vitamins. When we're talking about like a piece of elk meat, if you look at it, it's a deep red color.
Very red.
And it's just rich with protein and amino acids. It's fantastic for you. You know, I know a lot of people ethically, they don't like the idea of eating animals. I understand it. I get where you're coming from.
Yeah, I understand that too. I love animals.
Yeah, I do too.
That's who I relate to.
The thing about animals is they don't live forever. And the way they die in the wild is horrific. In comparison to the way I get them, the way they die without me is way worse. And they're not going to live forever.
Nope.
They have, if they're lucky, they get to 10, 11, 12. Crazy if they get to 12.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the time they're getting torn apart by animals or they freeze to death.
And the farm world is no bueno.
No bueno.
No, it's not good for us, not good for them.
No. Except regenerative agriculture, when people are doing it correctly and they're allowing these animals to roam free on grass-fed farms. And, you know, there's ways that people do it. Like there's a guy named Joel Salatin who's got this place called Polyface Farms, and he is an expert and a proponent of regenerative agriculture, where the manure from the cows is the fertilizer for the plants, and the pigs, they roam free and they chew up the ground to get roots, and then the chickens come along, and it's like all these animals, they have this symbiotic relationship with the earth, and that it's actually carbon neutral when it's done correctly.
Well done.
The real question is, though, and this is what I've asked a lot of people this, and I can't really get a square answer. It's like, is that sustainable for enormous populations? It doesn't seem like it is.
I think nature has a way of creating sustainability, and if you study nature, which that sounds closer to, it might be more sustainable than we think. Population is a beast.
Population's a beast. That's the issue. Is what's unnatural is a city. When you can jam 20 million people into an area that's not growing anything other than weed, it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird. I mean, you're stuffing all these people into this area that has like Los Angeles, for example, very little water. You know, and everybody's like condensed, and they're all getting food from somewhere. Well, they're not growing it.
They're getting
so everything
the weed
has
too.
to be everything has to be shipped in. So you got all this, you know, the carbon that's coming from all the trucks that are shipping things in.
My favorite is the wild boar. I love it to pieces, and really it comes down to what are these animals eating, because that's what makes their composition.
Yeah.
So you look at a wild boar, like you said, they're eating roots and leaves and grubs and all this good stuff off the forest floor, and that's turning their meat into something beautiful.
Yeah.
And I honor their life, and I respect the fact that I'm taking a life, but they don't live forever, and you're taking the body, you're not taking the spirit.
The thing about wild boar here in Texas and in California as well, they have to shoot them because they're an invasive species. They brought them in, you know, when the Europeans came, like in the whatever year they brought them over to this country, and now they're everywhere. There's millions of them in Texas, and they literally have to hunt them. They have to, because there's no natural predators, or certainly not enough. I mean, their only natural predators really are mountain lions, and there's no way mountain lions can keep up with the way they breed. Their gestation period is, I think it's like 3 months, 3 weeks, and 3 days. So they can, in a perfect world, they can have 3 cycles of gestation every year. So they could have 3 litters a year.
They're making babies.
Yeah, it's crazy how many they make. And they just go from the time they're 6 months old. When they're 6 months old, they can give birth, which is crazy.
A little young.
And they're just shooting out piglets.
Yep.
And those little piglets are running around destroying crops, and there's no natural predators.
Well, let me know when you start your wild game barbecue joint.
All right, buddy.
Please.
I will. I wish if you lived out here, man, I'd supply you with food. I have a lot of meat. I hook up a lot of my friends with elk meat.
It's surprisingly attainable. I got elk coming down the pike. I have a little tiny Irish chef called Anya. And if I say any animal to her, like, I'd like to try some alligator. She's like on the phone getting the alligator scent. It works.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah, I alligator hunted in Florida this year.
You hunted.
Yeah. It's heavy.
I respect it. I can't do it. I'm too much of a punk to be able to do it.
You're not a punk. You just don't want to do it. It's okay. I get it. I wouldn't want to do it either if I didn't. But I was either going to become a vegan or I was going to become a hunter. That was those are my two paths.
You should be able to kill the animal.
Yeah. That's what I had seen too many of those factory farming videos. And I was like, fuck all that. And then my friend Steve Ranella from the show Meat Eater that I was talking to you about, he took me hunting, and I actually shot that deer right there. That's the first animal I ever shot, that skull on the table. It's a mule deer that we shot. Yeah. Well, it's a deer. It's called a mule deer.
Yeah, mule deer.
And it's from Montana. We shot that, and I ate it, and I was like, okay, that makes sense. This makes sense. The experience is it's difficult to attain.
Yep.
You have to work really hard for it. You're hiking in the mountains. You have to play the wind. You have to be smart. You know, there's a lot going on. And then the reward for it is, you know, mule deer like that was like a 250-pound animal. So I'm eating that for a couple months.
You've got some freezers.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I respect that, and I wish I had it in me to come face to face with the creature that I'm eating, that I'm taking. I just haven't found it yet.
You don't have to. You don't have to.
Especially an alligator. I love those guys.
I fucking hate those things.
I love them.
I hate those things because when I was a little kid, I used to live in Florida. I lived in Gainesville, and there was a lady that lived in my neighborhood, and her dog got snatched. She was walking her dog, and this fucking alligator comes over and snatches her dog.
There's no convenient market for the alligator. He's got to find his dog every day. We can walk into a shop. They cannot.
That's true, but fuck them.
I love them.
They eat kids, man. They eat everything.
They should. They've been here 500 million years.
They
Second
have.
only to the damn shark.
They make good belts.
I can't argue that.
I
but
buy alligator leather whenever I can. I don't like them.
I like them. I love them.
Really?
And I love
find
them in my
to be
tacos too.
Soulless, evil creatures that are killing machines.
This guy raised a baby alligator on his couch watching, NFL games or
Yeah, it's
something.
gonna bite his dick when he's not looking.
It hasn't bitten his dick yet. They cuddle. They kiss.
Really?
They're like this on the
Aw,
couch.
That's cute.
Give them a chance.
Okay, that's
They're
cute.
survivors.
Well, they definitely are survivors.
They're
I mean, they've been here
gorgeous.
forever.
They're
I
gorgeous.
definitely prefer them to crocodiles. Crocodiles can go fuck themselves.
Tougher.
They're meaner.
Yeah.
They're mean. There was a
As are we, by the way, Joe.
Yeah, we're pretty mean.
We're very mean.
Yeah, well, we use nuclear weapons. Crocodiles just one creature at a time.
Because there's no shopping malls for them.
It's true. It's true.
What do they got to do?
They can't go to HEB and
They have to be clever.
cruise the meat aisle.
Yep.
Yeah, it's true. That's true. I mean, I respect it. I get it. I understand it. But also, fuck you.
Best alligator farm on earth. Not a farm. It's kind of a sanctuary. St. Augustine, Florida. Have you been there?
I've been to St. Augustine, yeah.
Oldest city in the United States of America.
Is it really?
The single oldest city.
Is that where, like, Cabeza de Vaca landed or
The
something?
Spanish landed there.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Fountain
St.
of Youth.
Augustine, that makes sense.
It's a gorgeous town, and some weird animal dude, rich guy, philanthropist, something, has a sanctuary with something like 700 different breeds of alligators and crocodiles,
I
all
didn't know
all
there
very
was that
well
many
kept.
breeds. Really?
It's endless, from the
Wow.
biggest to the tiniest to the albinos to the blue.
Wow.
Pretty fascinating.
blue.
Blue hue.
Oh, wow.
The albino was the wildest looking
They're
one.
pretty freaky.
Freaky and also a little extra aggressive
Really?
by nature.
Wow. The albino ones are.
Yes.
I saw an albino elk a couple of years ago. They're very rare, but it's occasional. It was a cow elk, female elk, and it was albino. It was really wild to see. It was like a ghost.
That's like a spirit animal.
Yeah, it was really fascinating because I was hunting the males, so I wasn't interested in shooting her at all.
Right.
I just wanted to look at her. I was like, wow, look at that thing. It's white, just a pure white elk.
Rare.
Oh, so rare. Very, very rare. They have them in deer as well.
And buffalo.
Oh, they get white buffalo?
White buffalo, very sacred to the natives
Didn't
of
Ted
Dakotas.
Nugent have a song about that? Ted Nugent might have had a song about the white buffalo, great white buffalo.
Song about him getting trampled by the buffalo.
No, look at that. Look at that thing.
Yes.
Whoa. God, that's beautiful.
It snuck into our lyrics on this last record.
Wow, what a fucking cool animal. By the way, that is some of the most nutritious meat on earth.
Buffalo. Not necessarily the white, but just
No,
buffalo
not
in general.
necessarily the white.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't shoot the
Nope.
white ones.
Nope.
It's too rare. You're supposed to let it go.
You are.
I
Yeah.
think.
They're too inspiring.
Well, it's like, you know, you want to kill the common.
Yeah,
You
that's what
want
I'm
to kill
saying.
that rare.
The occasional whale shows up with no pigment.
Real? I've seen pink dolphins. Have you ever
White
seen
whales. In the Amazon, you have the pink dolphin. Yeah. But in the Pacific, you have the white-ass whale.
that? Actually white.
Pure white.
Wow.
The beluga.
Oh, that's
Different
right.
than this, or-
Belugas. Yeah, they're pretty white.
Belugas are white, but there's also like an albino humpback, perhaps,
Let me
cruising the coast of Australia somewhere.
Oh, like a very, very rare version of it.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah.
Whoa. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
We went whale sighting in Hawaii. I forget what time of the year it was. I want to say it's like around now. When are the whales there? But anyway, you go out on a boat and you just go out into the ocean. And they just look for them in the distance and get close to them, and you get to watch them breach, and they just fly through the water and it's just whoosh. It's incredible. You can't even. I mean, you know they're big, but until you actually see them in real life, like, it doesn't sort of compute.
And strong.
Oh my God. And majestic, like intelligent, bizarre
Beyond.
mammals
Yes.
that live in the ocean.
That for some reason don't have hands and can't build stuff.
Yeah.
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 Which is maybe a blessing for them.
And they talk.
And sing
Yeah.
and love.
Yeah.
And, yeah. I had a day of surfing with a mother and her calf
Whoa.
where I live in Malibu. And it was a great wave day. Just epically beautiful, clear, perfectly shaped waves. But then we had a humpback and her kid on the sandbar because they like to rub their bellies on the sandbar. And she was kind of sitting right on the takeoff spot for surfing.
Whoa.
I was like, I don't really want to disturb mother and child, but I do have to get that wave. So I got as close as I could to the takeoff spot, and they didn't care. They were like, go for it. You know, we're here, you're here. Spent hours surfing with a whale in my company.
Wow. My friend Peter Attia, he's a doctor. He told me that orcas, the sounds that they make and the sounds, their ability to detect sounds, like the frequency that they can project is similar to ultrasound.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know how they use ultrasound
Yeah.
to detect an injury, and they
can see through
They can
you.
see through you. Literally can see through you through the ocean. He goes, it's mind-boggling. Like, we don't even understand like what's going on in them. And when you see like an orca's brain in comparison to a human brain, like they've done, and the dolphins as well. Like dolphins, their cerebral cortex is like 40% larger than a human being. So it's like massive brains. Where dolphins can have one, and an orca is basically a dolphin. It's like the cousin
Dolphin
of a
family.
dolphin.
Dolphin family, yeah.
They shut one half of their brain down when they go to sleep.
Beautiful.
So one half is always awake to look out for danger and problems. So that's how they sleep. They don't sleep like us. They sleep like one half shuts off.
Orca's my guy.
They're amazing, man.
That's what's on my back.
Oh, really?
Yes. Yeah.
Only killed people in captivity.
That's, as long as we're
me see
showing ink.
Oh, yeah.
So that face in the middle is the Haida interpretation of the orca.
Ah.
Yeah, they don't kill people.
Only in captivity. When they're
Which
getting
is fair
fucking
game.
Fuck yeah, it's
Fair
fair
game.
game. They're getting tortured. Anybody who's seen Blackfish, or anybody who knows what's going on in marine land, all the shit that's going on in Canada
Hate
right
it.
now, it's horrible, man. It's horrible. It's like it's a form of torture to a sentient animal that might be as smart as us. And one day we're going to look back on the captivity of orcas and dolphins, and we're going to be horrified that people were so callous.
Or right now.
or right now.
Pretty horrified right
Yeah,
now.
but I think there's too many people that still don't understand. They still don't know. And they'll still go to SeaWorld and watch them jump out of the water. It's crazy.
And they're very family.
Yeah.
They're all about their pod.
Right, which is why it's so sick that they take them from their pod and put them in a
Yeah.
fucking swimming pool.
Yeah, we can do better than that.
Yeah. Well, we should observe them only in the wild. That's what we should do. I mean, they shouldn't allow those places. They shouldn't exist. If you want to have a marine land or a sea world, it should literally be like a place where you can go and they have a giant screen and you watch documentaries of these creatures so you could appreciate them. And maybe you could donate to some sort of a conservation group and they put some of that money to it. But to have them in captivity, fuck that. There's no reason for that. There's
Agreed.
zero reason for that.
On my bucket list, which I don't really have, but if I did have a bucket list, hanging out in the wild with the orca, preferably surfing, which can be done, but also I would just swim out to one. I feel it has to be done. That's a fear that I want to face, because
man.
they could just
If they wanted to, just swallow you.
yeah, swallow, but they won't because they never have.
No, they don't. Isn't that wild? That they've actually helped people. There's people that have been drowning, people that have fallen off of boats, and they've helped them. They've actually rescued humans. Like, they're so smart, man. They've just evolved in a way where they've never figured out how to manipulate their environment. They don't have to.
They don't have to.
They maneuver through 3D space. They use sound and they communicate in a way that we can't even decipher. I mean, think of all the code smashers, all these people that have figured out these complex codes and they can decipher them. They have no idea what those orcas are saying. They know that they have dialects, so they know they sound different in one part of the world than they do in other parts of the world, but they don't know what the fuck they're saying. They have no idea.
Half of it's song.
Yeah.
They just like singing
I bet, right?
and dancing.
Have you ever heard of John Lilly? John Lilly's the man who developed the sensory deprivation tank. And he's also a pioneer in interspecies communication. And one of the things he was doing, he was a legitimate scientist.
Yeah.
One of the things he was doing was trying to decipher dolphin communication and trying to get dolphins to speak English. And he was a wild dude. He would take acid and get in a sensory deprivation tank right next to a tank filled with orcas, and he would try to communicate with them while he was tripping. And one of the things he did was he developed this research center where they had an orca that lived with a woman, and she lived in this house that was filled with water. So the orca could swim around. So for her to get to her bed, she had to the water was like, it wasn't an orca, excuse me, it was a dolphin. And the water was like, chest high. So the dolphin would swim around in this house. And then to get into the bed, she'd have to climb out of the water and into the bed. And the dolphin was a male dolphin, and it would get distracted because it was so hypersexual. So she would jerk off the dolphin. And when they found out about it, they killed the research.
They should have upped the
money.
Yeah,
hire someone to jerk them off
they're
more.
They're just as freaking sexual as we are.
Maybe even more so. But the only way it would participate in these activities was if it got jerked off.
Hand job.
So they found out and they killed the science.
Yeah, they're humping everything.
Yeah, constantly.
So without knowing any of that story prior to right now, great story. In 1983, the sensory deprivation tank had become a little bit of a thing in Hollywood, and you could go and rent a little time.
We have one here.
You have one here. But this is early days.
Yeah.
This is John Lilly days.
Yeah.
And out of nowhere, I decided to give my best friend at the time, Tree, some LSD. I said, let's take this LSD, go up to the apartment complex, and we're going to rent an hour in the tank, side by side. And he was like, okay, let's do it. So we took the LSD. We drove his car. We got in the tanks. I thought it was just going to be, ooh, trippy dippy. Forget it. I was 10 billion miles away in outer space. An astral plane experience.
Yeah.
Completely conscious, but no body. Just flying through the quiet vastness of space. It was almost more than we could handle, but those things are real. the elements combined. I don't do LSD anymore, but as a young man, it made sense to me.
The combination of the two things is what's really phenomenal, because what Lilly, he invented the sensory deprivation tank because he was trying to figure out a way to separate the mind from any of the physical input of the body.
It works.
It does work.
Probably
yeah.
without LSD.
Oh, it definitely does
Yeah.
without LSD. Yeah, it's one of the best ways to achieve a psychedelic state without any drugs. And also you can end it at any time. Just open the door. And it's over. It's not like you have to come down from it. It just goes away.
I had to come down on that day.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I bet.
I had to get home.
I bet you did. How'd you get home?
It was tough. It was tough. The roads were disappearing under the car. You have a tank here in the office, or?
It's in the gym.
Okay.
Yeah, it's right next door. I'll show it to you.
Okay.
It's awesome. It's from Los Angeles. There's a place called the Float Lab.
Yeah.
It's in Venice. It's the premier
Okay.
float destination on Earth. My friend Crash runs it. It's incredible. And Crash is a mad scientist, and he's developed a sensory deprivation tank that's like super advanced with like ozone filtration, and the water filtration is like he gets these systems that are from like commercial water filtration for like people's drinking water
Yeah.
and shit, and he has this whole process of, and then it's a giant tank too. It's like a meat freezer.
Size of this room?
No, it's like from this
Okay.
back to there, but it's like nice and wide where you could reach out. You touch this side and touch that side, so you sort of center yourself.
How
in the
about just
water.
floating on water?
Yeah,
Pretty good.
it's amazing. And there's 1,000 pounds of Epsom salts in there, so you're very buoyant. You just like
Body
relax.
temp?
Body temp.
You don't
94
feel it.
degrees. You don't feel it. It's incredible.
Dark?
Yeah, pitch black.
Yep.
Yeah, and you just blend into nothingness. And when the mind is detached from the physical sensations of the body, your brain becomes supercharged. And the way I always describe it is like, if we were having this conversation and there was someone next to us with a jackhammer, it'd be super distracting. It'd be like, let's get over there so we can talk. We can't hear. But everything is input. The sensory input of your butt touching this chair, right? Your hands touching this desk, the earphones on, the microphone in front of your face, the physical space, the you and I exchanging social cues and communicating with sound, like all that stuff is input. Well, in the sensory deprivation tank, there's none, zero. And then with the water being the same temperature as your skin, it feels like you're flying.
That was my experience.
It's amazing. On acid, it must be insane. I've never done it on acid.
I think it just, exacerbated the whole aspect of what you're talking about, where there's no body.
Yeah.
Your brain is free to go wherever it likes. I loved it. To me, it was pretty monumental. I don't think I would repeat it under those circumstances, but I'm
well,
happy
if you did,
I
you'd want more time. 1 hour is like, beep, time's up, Anthony.
Time
Like,
was
"Oh,
up. Time was up.
What do you mean
Yeah.
time's up? I'm on Jupiter.
But now for me, I get an even better feeling in the ocean. The ocean is so full of life and peace and nature and excitement. That's my tank these days.
Yeah, you were telling me about your love of surfing the other day. You love it, huh?
I do, because it gives me that feeling, that freedom, and there's an energy. I'm late to the game, late to the party, late as you can be. Started in my 40s, tried a handful of times before that, made no sense. And then when I finally found it through Takuji Masuda, my teacher, my Japanese teacher, that's what I want to do till the day I die.
Wow.
Just go sit out there waiting for a wave. If you think about the storms 3,000 miles away raging in the ocean, sending that wave of energy through the water, when it finally releases, when it hits the shallows, it's a rush, it's a drug, it's a high, it's a natural high where you're next to whales and dolphins and pelicans and eels and anemones, and just looking back at the coast with a different point of view, no phone, no technology whatsoever, just water and a board.
And that water's charged, too. It's like there's life in that water. That water's not just water. That water's like a giant living superorganism.
Superorganism.
Sustains life.
Ions and
Yeah,
minerals.
there's energy to it. Yeah, a lot of my jiu-jitsu friends love surfing because a lot of Brazilians surf.
I've seen them out there.
Yeah, and like a lot of them come from Rio, and a lot of surfers in Rio,
Yeah.
and they come over to America, so they surf in America.
All over the world, you see
Yeah.
them in the water.
Yeah, they love it, and it's a great exercise for jiu-jitsu too because it's so balance-based. There's so much going on. It's also a flow exercise. Where jiu-jitsu is very much about like flowing.
Right. Scrambling.
Yeah, there's a lot.
You got to scramble with the wave.
Yeah.
You don't know what it's going to give you.
Right.
One wave jacks up more than another.
Yeah. Have you ever done one of those wave pools? Those crazy places that they develop. There's one out here in Waco.
Yeah.
That, like, develops waves, and apparently it's a great way to learn.
It's
because
a good way to practice.
You get to ride a lot of different waves.
It's not an organism.
Right. Right. But
And
it's a way to get used to surfing itself.
If you want to train and really work on your technique and get better, rather than have this experience with nature, it's definitely the place to go. And also if you live in Texas.
Right.
So people that are competitive and in the leagues and want to go to the Olympics, it's the greatest invention ever because you can just work on turns, specific turns. I don't care about any of that. I just want to go paddle out into the unknown.
I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I see the value. And
Yeah.
they're popping up everywhere.
Yeah, they're everywhere, right? There was one that just got shot down in Palm Springs.
Shot down.
Yeah, unfortunately. There's concern that it's going to bring a bunch of fucking crazy hippies and their VW buses playing
hope
their
so.
loud rock and roll. I don't know why they shot it down. I mean, I think they might have shot it down also because of concern that it uses a lot of water. Yeah.
Yeah.
But can't they just get that water from the ocean?
You would think it's not that far from the Sea of Cortez.
There's plenty of water out there. They got to just get the salt out of the water.
They do.
That's the problem. The
They
problem
do.
is not the lack of water. It's
Yeah.
salt.
Well, there are lots of people working on that.
Yeah, they should.
Yeah.
That would fix California like that.
It's expensive right now.
Fuck yeah, it's expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, but why haven't you guys, nuclear powered desalination plants?
Mm-hmm.
You're welcome. Fix it. Fix it. California should look like a fucking jungle. It should be beautiful and green and lush. All that fucking sun, if you're constantly spraying water over everything, it would be amazing.
We have some lush. We have some lush. Hoopa Valley, lush.
Okay, Northern
Yeah.
California.
Yeah.
I went to Northern California a few years back with my family. We went to the rainforest to see
The redwoods.
all the redwoods.
Oh,
That's crazy.
that's lush.
Well, that's the thing about California, right? There's so many different ecosystems that are all combined. You have your desert, you have like the rainy as fuck in Northern California. There's so much, mountains are right there. The ocean's right there.
See the whole deal.
It's amazing.
It is.
Yeah, it's an amazing state.
I can't pull myself away.
I get it. I get it. If
Maybe-
I was going to live somewhere, I'd live where you live, though.
I have
Malibu's
I have
the
a
spot.
spare lot. I do. I was saving it for my son, but
Is it right next door to you?
it is.
I'll be your neighbor.
Yeah.
I would live in Malibu. If I was going to live anywhere in California, I think Malibu's got a great vibe. There's also a thing about being next to the ocean that's very humbling. I think it's very good for people to be just confronted by inescapable beauty and power of nature. And that's what oceans do.
I need that. I need to be humbled daily.
It's good for everybody. The mountains do the same thing.
They do.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
You know what the root of that word is?
Which word? Humble?
Humble.
No.
To be close to the ground. To be low to the ground.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Feels right.
Yeah. Yeah, humble, like, people look at that as like a negative. Like, that's
Oof.
good. It's so positive. You should be humble, man. You're in space. I go to the Big Island. I try to go, like, once every few years. But whenever I do go, we go to the Keck Observatory. I don't know if you've ever been up there.
Mauna Kea or whatever it is?
I think that's it.
Yeah, yeah. The big mountain.
Mauna Loa, maybe? Mauna Kea? Whatever the mountain is that's up there, there's an observatory that you get to. It's like many thousand feet above sea level. And if you can time it right, if you could visit during no moon, when the moon's not out, it's fucking spectacular.
You're in space.
You literally like on a spaceship with a glass dome over you. That's what it looks like. Like you have an unhindered view of the cosmos that I've never experienced before. I mean, I've been in the country when it's a beautiful dark night and you get to see all the stars and it looks amazing. But up there, you're through the clouds.
Yeah.
I think you're like
13.
11. Is it 13?
I think it's
13,000 feet above sea
I could
level?
be wrong. I think it's 13.
Super high up there. That's what it looks like. But that's literally what it looks like, man. That's not an exaggeration. That's not a fake image. It's so incredible that I remember going there once, changed the way I feel about our relationship to space. Like forever. And I also got so upset thinking, like, how fucked is it that that's not available to us just because we're so weird with light? We want everything lit up at night. You know, we want the cities lit up and they want everything to be lit up. And when you get that light pollution, you miss the majesty of the cosmos, which is what I think humbled our ancestors. I think all of our ancestors were completely connected to the cosmos. If you look at like the Mayans, they designed all of their structures in their cities to represent the cosmos, to represent constellations, and so did the Egyptians.
They were connected to the
yes,
cosmos.
it was inescapable.
They also didn't have television, radio, film,
Right.
computers. So you had to deal with the elements,
Yeah,
which is what made a lot of those people so smart. Because from sun up to sundown, you're working on your
Yep.
connection.
yep,
Da Vinci,
yeah,
no distractions.
none, just art.
Just art and
Yeah.
invention and philosophy and all day, every day.
Yeah. There's something about that view of the cosmos that I really wish more people would get.
I'm going to go check it out. I've never been up there. I've ridden my motorcycle all around that island many times, but I've never ridden up to the top of that mountain.
It's wild. You got to go up there find out when the next dark night is. Like, what do they call it? Was it a dark? What is it called when it's like no moon at all? New moon? New moon. It's, you could, obviously you could look at it on a calendar, but if you get up there during that time, it's pretty fucking amazing. I mean, it blew me away. My oldest daughter I think she was like 9 or 10 at the time. I think she was too young to appreciate it. But when we were up there the last time, we were just like standing there staring at it. Like, I remember thinking, I'm never going to forget this. I'm never going to forget what this feels like. I was like, oh, we're in space.
I don't think she'll forget it either.
Hope not.
I don't think she will. I think at that age, you're still
Yeah,
impressionable.
I think so.
Yeah.
Shit, I'm impressionable now and I'm 55.
But you might have gone through a patch where you were less impressionable.
Hopefully.
Yeah. My teenage son is like, what? Cosmos.
Fuck out of here, bitch. I'm on TikTok.
Yeah, I'm going to Subway. What are you talking about?
Well, teenage boys in particular, they're feeling their oats and their testosterone
Oh,
flowing through their
Rebel.
system. Rebels.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, you need that.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a push and a pull.
Does he have like a physical outlet to express his physical energy?
Not enough. I wish he had more. He is a baller. He plays the basketball.
Oh, that's good. Basketball's a great way.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. I beg him to go surfing, but it's my thing in his mind. That's your thing, Dad.
Oh, he doesn't want to fuck with your thing.
Doesn't want to fuck with my things,
gotta be a rebel.
But when he does paddle out, his eyes light up,
Yeah.
and he's a natural.
Oh.
He's a big, strong boy. So I'll just let him find it.
Get him in jiu-jitsu.
He was in jiu-jitsu as a child,
Yeah?
as a little boy. Yeah, I had good teachers coming over, and he was willing. Not anymore.
One thing about California, there's a lot of jiu-jitsu out there.
Good teachers.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I could steer you in the right place. Let me know.
Could you?
Oh yeah.
You know
Oh,
something about that?
I know a lot of my good friends
Yeah.
out there teach.
I tried it 3 times in my life.
Yeah.
It hurt. It freaking hurt.
It's designed to hurt.
It hurt. Like, I liked it, but I was so competitive that I got home and I realized there was no skin on my feet from the mats.
Yeah.
Like, I have no technique,
Right.
so I'm just trying to muscle it, dig in. I did all right. I fought some guys. It was fun. Hurt.
The key to learning jiu-jitsu is to learn how to play. Like the Gracies, they always have this phrase like Henner Gracie and Huron Gracie. They say keep it playful,
Right.
and it's great advice. If you could really follow that advice, that's how you learn. Because you learn how to not muscle things. You learn how to only use technique and to have fun and just to don't be crazy competitive. Know that you're going to get tapped out. Know that you're going to tap other people. It's going to be fine. But if you just always try to win every time, you're not going to learn. You're going to be too tense. You're going to be you're not going to open yourself up. So you're not going to take chances. So you're not going to learn as much.
Yeah.
It'll hinder you. You think you're doing good because you're not getting tapped, but really you're doing bad because you're not learning enough.
That was my experience.
It's normal. Most men do. I mean, it's interesting when you see guys do it for like the first few times. Like you see the tension in them. They can't breathe. They're so fucking tense and they get tired so quick.
Got to play.
Yeah, you got to keep it playful. Relax. Yeah.
I love watching it. I love the art. I love the chess match of all that. Fascinating. Can't get enough of it.
What do you do physically other than surf? You're in really good shape.
I mean, not to be a jerk, but very little. Very, very
You
little.
just have great genes.
No, I am a performer for a living, so that's 2 hours of
That's a
good
lot of
exercise.
aerobics.
I like the bicycle very much. I get on a bike almost every day just to go ride next to the ocean and be humbled. And surf is super limited because we don't always have waves. And if it's like a show day or a rehearsal day, I can't go surf. Being a dad, wrestling my son a bit, that kind of thing. But I don't have a discipline that I go to. Just engaging life physically, always, since I was a kid. But I don't really have a routine. I don't have a beach workout or a weight thing or any of that.
Nothing.
I like some push-ups here and there. A lot. I like the isometrics when I can get into that. But by the way, if you do go to Hawaii for a month and surf every day, you're the strongest you've ever been in your life. Kayaking.
Oh, yeah.
Haven't done it for a while, but
Kayaking's hard. It's great on the shoulders.
it's so good. You get strong.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
And, surfing is also like just your core, your balance. And then, like you're saying, getting in tone, just you're connected to Mother Earth in just an undeniable way, right? You're a part of the ocean. You're floating around.
Instantly. From the minute the board hits the water, you're in another world.
You ever have any shark encounters?
I wish.
Really?
Well, I mean, not a
Not a bad one.
not a bad one. I've never seen a shark in all my days of surfing.
Have you ever seen the drone footage when they fly drones over Malibu? You see how many sharks are out there?
Thank goodness. If they're not there, we're screwed.
It's true. Yeah.
No,
they're
the more I
important.
see, the better.
Yeah.
Of course, you have a little shark phobia. It's like a internal thing. We're born with it. These are strong animals, but we're not on the menu. We've never been on the menu. They have a very specific understanding of what they want to do with their lives, and it's not us. When it is us, I believe it's a mistake. It's like a puppy, like going, "Who's this guy?" They bite.
I
They're
think
like,
they think we're seals, right?
They don't. They
No,
know
when they make a mistake.
when they make a mistake.
Yeah.
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 We could, but that's a big mistake.
But if you look at the numbers of sharks that kill people versus sharks that get killed by people, the number of sharks that get killed by people is something crazy.
It's
I think it's like 70 million
a year. Yeah.
Something really nuts.
And they
where-
kill about 5 of us if we're lucky.
Yeah, it's like 5 or 6 on a
Yeah.
bad year.
In a bad
Like,
year.
What is it? Like, let's find it out. Google it. Oh, you got it already? Oh, 100 million sharks. Holy shit.
We're killing ourselves when we kill them.
100 million. Wow.
They are the great balance keepers of the sea.
Shark's fin soup is what it is.
Yeah. Not happening.
Wow, the fishing industry. That's crazy.
Out of control.
Now, how many people get killed by sharks every year? I don't think it's more than like 60 or 70.
A year?
Yeah.
Killed way
in
less.
the world.
Way less.
Really?
Way less.
Is it?
Give us
How
some
many
numbers,
is it?
please.
Let's take a guess. What do you think it is?
Less than 10.
Less than 10.
Killed.
Wow.
Bit, 70. Killed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Let's
No,
see.
there's always little. They're puppies. They want to see what you are.
I just saw this number recently. That's why I know. It's like 5.
5.
Something like that.
Yeah.
6 to 8, it says.
So
Whoa,
that could
6
be
to 8 a year. That's
it could be the
crazy.
the animal that kills the least amount of people.
For every 100 million sharks killed per year, about 6 to 8 humans are killed by sharks.
This is why I support Paul Watson.
How many people get bit every year?
Here you go. 73 shark
Ooh.
bites.
73. Dude, you nailed it.
Unprovoked.
Pretty close. Pretty close.
Son.
Pretty close.
Nailed it.
And by the
39
way-
provoked bites. Those people are assholes. 39 provoked bites. What are you fucking provoking a shark, man? What kind of you ever see there's a Instagram page called Taurons of Yellowstone?
No.
Instead of morons, tourists that are morons, Taurons of Yellowstone.
They
And
deserve
it's-
what they get.
Oh my God, do they deserve it? It's people like running up to buffalo going, "Ooh,"
Why?
and then they get launched through the air.
That's 3,000 pounds of launch muscle.
Fuck that. But some people just have zero respect for what nature is. They just, for some reason, they think they live in a movie where they're immune to the natural
Well,
laws.
if you're on vacation, you should have immunity.
We were on vacation a few years back. We went to Montana and we went to Yellowstone, and there were bison that were just roaming around. They were only like 40 or 50 yards away. And when I saw them, all these people like got their cameras out and they were like closing in. And here it goes. Okay, this is elk.
Is this the launch?
It's going to chase this guy down.
this
in
gonna
just a
get fucked
second.
up?
Yeah.
Well, you don't ever want to fuck with an elk.
Why would you?
Oh, dude.
yeah.
Don't.
Oh, you got
Like,
off
get
easy.
out of here, bitch. He got
That was a
lucky.
love tap.
That's a big ass elk too. What was I gonna say? The bison that lived there, they're in these like packs, and these people were taking photos of them. And I was with my kids, and my kids they were young at the time, and they're like, "We want to see the buffalo. We want to see the buffalo." And we got close, and I'm like, "Okay, let me get like in front of you here. Let me like get in front." And I'm just thinking, okay. If shit, I'm just gonna grab the two of them like two fucking footballs and run behind a car if some shit goes down. Because at any moment now, you're only 50 yards away. The buffalo could just get pissed off and go, "Why the fuck are you taking my picture?" And just take a wild run at them. Especially if they're breeding, especially if they're in the rut.
The one thing those people have going for them is that the bison doesn't really want to waste its time crushing you.
Yes,
It'll give you a warning. It might give you a smash,
that's true.
but they're like, they want to go back to doing what they were doing.
They're also super used to being around people because people are around there all the time.
I'm going to go toward the grizzly bear now
You gonna go towards them? What do you mean?
in the conversation.
Oh,
Just for a moment.
okay.
I've heard a couple of your comments about the grizzly, and I just want to share my little experiences. I went kayaking in Alaska.
Ooh.
It was fantastic. Fjordal. This is some years ago. Flea was part of the party.
So this is like a glacial river.
It's a river that goes between glaciers, and
Oh, wow.
yeah, stunning. And 3 grizzly bear encounters, all of which were lovely and mellow and harmless.
Well, you know why though? You're near food source. You're near salmon.
Salmon.
Yeah.
And blueberries. By the way, they
Yeah.
eat blueberries all day.
All day.
Their poop is blue
Yeah, isn't that
with
wild?
bones coming out of it.
No,
Salmon
wow.
bones. One time I got ahead of the pack. I stopped at a little beach. It had a berm above my head, maybe 10 feet up. When the pack caught up with me, the kayakers in the water, they're waving and hollering. I'm like, it's beautiful. Isn't this beautiful? We're out here in the wild. There's a grizzly 10 feet above my head looking down at me as I'm just parked on the beach. No problem. No beef.
Yeah.
Second time was a mother feeding her cubs mollusks and oysters or whatever she could get. And a hiker said there's a mama grizzly with her cubs eating around the corner. I was like, I got to go see. I cannot help myself.
Really?
I must go look at this beautiful animal.
That's dangerous.
I walked slowly, gently around the corner. She saw me. She sent her cubs up a tree. She's like, guys, go up. And she continued to eat as she kept one eye on me. No grief. No,
Because you didn't surprise her.
no snarling. Just like, I see you. I'm doing my thing. You stay there, I'll stay here. Then I brought my son up, and we went looking for grizzlies, and we found them, and one crossed the river straight towards us and just walked right past us.
Oh. There's a distinction. What you're talking about is a coastal brown bear. The ones that are eating a lot of salmon. There's a difference between them and grizzlies. The grizzlies are the inland bears. And
Okay.
the grizzly is a bear that you would encounter, say, in Montana, and they're much more likely to eat you.
Is that right?
Yeah, because
ya.
yeah, they are eating animals. They're not eating fish because there's not much fish to
Right.
eat there. I mean, they might catch a trout every now and then, but for the most part, they're eating moose and deer and mostly calves too. That's what they prefer to eat.
That's a good meal.
It's a good meal.
I don't think I'm a good meal.
You definitely would be, and they definitely would eat you. If my woman got killed in Montana recently. She got killed in her tent. She was I forget what she was doing there, but she was in her tent, and this bear came into her tent and killed her. It does happen. It's more likely to happen with grizzlies than it is with brown bears, because brown bears are actually far larger too, because they have an almost endless supply of fish, especially in like Alaska. The biggest brown bears in the world used to be in California. California, even though our state flag has a grizzly bear on it, we don't have any grizzly bears in California because they killed them all.
Misnomer?
No.
No, I'm saying the flag is a misnomer.
No. They used to have them.
We had grizzlies?
Oh, yeah. There's a place called Leveque, California.
I know we had the brown bear, but now with the distinction.
Yeah. Well, it's the same bear.
Same bear.
It's
Okay.
the difference between them is one of them is on the coast and they're far larger. California had the biggest because California doesn't have a hibernation. It's not winter. There's no winter there. Like California, like Leveque, California.
Where is that?
It's like on the way to Bakersfield up the 5. And it's named after the last person in California to get killed by a grizzly bear. I think his name was Stephen Leveque.
You had it right the first time. It's with a B, Lebec.
Lebec.
It's Peter Lebec.
Leveque, yeah. What did I say, Leveque?
Yeah.
Leveque. That's the guy. So he got killed by a bear in 1837, which is now Fort Tejon. So that is up near Tejon Ranch. And so this guy was the last person killed by a bear, and then they basically eradicated brown bears from California because because they were killing people, because they were hunting them down, because they are predators, and they if they didn't have fish, and they found a person, they're like, I'll eat you.
I would have to see it to believe it.
See him eat a person?
Well, I've read I've read all the accounts of them eating people, and it always seems like they have a reason.
Well, yeah, they're hungry.
Other than hungry.
Well, in California, I think the issue was people were making their way to California, and they were a new food source. They weren't there originally, right?
Maybe
so
they
people
were
started
just a
showing
nuisance.
up. I'm sure they were a nuisance.
Yeah.
If you're a bear and you're trying to kill a deer, and then this asshole with a musket comes along and kills your deer, and then he tries to chase you off that deer, you're like, get the fuck out of here. This is my deer you shot. Get out of here.
How about the black bear?
Black bear are more likely to try to kill people than grizzly bears are. When a person gets attacked by a grizzly bear, generally it's a surprise. When a person gets killed by a black bear, it's generally a bear that's trying to kill people. They get predatory bears.
Yeah.
They do occasionally hunt people, but it's rare. For the most part, when a black bear sees you, they just try to run away. They also think of people as a threat.
Yeah. We got charged by a black bear in Alaska.
Ooh.
And it was as big as a brown bear.
They're big, man.
Oh no, this was a house running fast at us. And then it made a right turn.
Try
Like
to
it was-
scare
it
you.
was a
It's
bluff.
bluff charge.
It was a bluff, yeah.
Thank God. Oof.
It didn't know what to do.
Fuck. Bears are wild animals. I mean, they're beautiful too, though. They're so cool. I'm so glad they're real.
We love them.
Yeah.
In Pasadena, Monrovia,
Oh, yeah.
they just come down from the hills and like
Jump in people's pools.
jump in pools, roam the streets, get a little snack out of the garbage.
There's a great video from Pasadena. There's a guy who's on his phone, and he goes and turns down this alley while he's on his phone. And as he's like looking at his phone, he looks up and there's a bear. He's like, "Fuck!" And he runs away. But it's like a like a security camera footage of this fucking guy.
Every day, they're around.
Yeah. Well, they come down from those mountains out there.
I'm happy that we have them.
Yeah.
It makes me feel like we're still alive.
Well, they're cool animals, man. They're cool. They're cool to see, you know. They're all cool to see. So are raccoons, you know. They're cool to see too. I always love when I see raccoons.
They have personality.
Yeah. I posted a video the other day on my Instagram of a raccoon killing an iguana in Florida. And I didn't know that raccoons are like little savages. Mm-hmm. He's like killing like a little bear.
Yeah.
Like biting down the head of this giant ass iguana that's
Wow.
like the size of him.
Huh.
Killing it.
Haven't seen that.
Look at that.
Savage.
Isn't that wild?
That's like you and the alligator the other day.
Well, iguanas are another weird invasive species in Florida. And I guess these raccoons are adapting. Just decided to eat them.
That's a big challenge right there.
Isn't that wild? That thing's as big as him. There's a lot of iguanas in Florida, apparently.
I would imagine that's a tasty meal for him.
They apparently taste good.
Yeah.
Because there's a bunch of videos on YouTube of people hunting iguanas in Florida and then cooking them. You know, they cook them in like a chicken dish.
I would try that.
Why not? They're invasive.
Yeah.
They have to kill them. It's a good move. So do you cook yourself?
No.
Not at all?
I will cook pancakes for my son. I will cook eggs for myself. And that's kind of my limit. Yeah. I see the attraction to people who love to be in the kitchen, cutting and dicing and chopping and frying. And my son can cook. It's not for me.
No.
I just never got into it. You?
Yeah. I cook all the time.
Yeah. I do see the beauty. I would be a good sous chef, but I just haven't mastered the real chef thing.
There's something cool about it. There's something exciting about cooking something and then eating a meal that you prepared yourself. It's very exciting.
Yeah. No, I like to be in the kitchen when that's happening, but I prefer someone with a larger skill set to be at the helm.
I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, someone who knows what they're doing. You ever do any fishing?
As a kid in Michigan, yes. It was kind of a go-to.
Kind of have to.
Yeah.
If you're a kid in Michigan.
Yeah, you got to fish. It's the rite of passage. But now I have the same feeling about
fish.
I just hate taking them. I love eating fish. It's such a wild animal. It's so good, so satisfying. But when I see them getting pulled out of the ocean, I'm like, ugh.
Right.
I just ruined this dude's day completely.
That's true.
Especially the mahi-mahi, which are flaming blue,
Beautiful.
yellow. And then the minute they come out, they lose all their color. They're just like, game's over. But I would. If that's like an animal that I have a slightly easier time
I was
ending.
in Mexico with my wife, and we went fishing. We caught mahi-mahi, and we cooked them like literally 2 hours after we caught them.
Mm-hmm.
Cooked them, caught them, got them to shore. 2 hours later, we're eating them. And it was like, holy shit, is this good? Fish in particular, there's something about like cooking them right when you catch them that makes them exponentially better.
Mm-hmm.
They're so good. It's like I almost feel like you're missing something if you buy like commercially caught. You're missing like the what the fish has to offer you.
Mm-hmm.
You're not getting all of it. It's almost, I mean, it's still great. Mahi-mahi's great no matter what, but man, it's not as good. Like right out of the water, it's the best.
I did that with my uncle in the Bahamas in the early 70s.
Really?
He was that guy. He was a master surgeon, so he spent all day in the hospital with open bodies trying to heal them. And then we would take a tiny little sailboat to the Bahamas and fish and swim and live.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What a cool experience that must have been.
It was. He was a badass. He was a big barrel-chested badass and not afraid of sharks. I had seen Jaws. Show me a shark this big, and I'm just running over the top of the water to escape. And we were on the island of Bimini, which is just a little sliver of an island out in the Atlantic. Crystal clear water. And one day a hurricane was coming. And his job was to take his tiny motorboat and pull a huge sailboat out of the harbor so that it could get to the ocean before the hurricane arrived, because that sailboat needed to get to Florida. It's raining, the seas are high, and he's in a small motorboat, and he's going to pull with a rope the boat out of the harbor. And I was like, I'm coming. He's like, you are not coming, 11-year-old Tony. I was like, no, I'm coming on this trip. I'm going to help. So my aunt sanctioned little Tony getting on the boat. When we pull this racing sailboat out of the harbor into the ocean, which is raging with massive waves. And we got a wave coming up over our bow, which sent us vertical. And the sailboat got a wave pushing its nose down, which pulled our stern underwater.
Oh, shit.
And it was my time to go moment. I was like, God, whoever you are, whatever you are, I feel a little bit young to be checking out right now. I mean, is this what you had in mind, honestly? And as I'm having my time to leave this earth moment, my uncle grabbed a machete and went underwater and cut that rope. And we popped out like a cork.
Whoa.
He floored the engine, which sent most of the water out of the boat, and everything was fine.
Wow, he knew his shit.
He knew his shit, but this is the guy that also taught me how to like pull big fish out of the ocean and, in theory, not be afraid of sharks.
That must have been an amazing experience to be 11 and have that happen.
So he had been to war. He had done the whole thing. And as he grew older, he told that story. He says, that was the scariest thing that's ever happened to me in all my days. I wouldn't tell this to my nephew, but it was curtains. We were done.
Whoa.
Chuck.
Wow.
Yeah.
My parents lived on a sailboat for a couple years. Right after they retired.
That's ballsy.
Yeah, they were like, they didn't even have a lot of experience on boats either. They just decided to learn how to sail, and they lived in the Bahamas. They lived in the Florida Keys. They just decided to live. They even just fucking drifted around in that sailboat, went to different places.
You ever think about it?
No. Fuck that. That's not me, man. I enjoy fishing. I enjoy being on the water. I love the ocean. But if I was going to live somewhere wild, I would live in the mountains for sure. For sure.
You ever think about just taking that one-time circumnavigation of the globe in a sailboat?
Nope.
No?
Nope.
Why?
Fuck that. It's just it's just not attractive to me. I respect it. I appreciate it. It's beautiful. But to be contained on a small wooden vessel bouncing around at the mercy of the waves and the way the moon affects the tides, and fuck off.
It's terrifying.
Yeah. Look, a lot of people would say fuck off about the mountains too. I mean, I'm not judging.
Yeah.
Just for me, that's the vibe that I love. I love this. Ready? Nothing. That silence that you get in the mountains when you're like sitting on top of a peak and you're overlooking these valleys and you don't hear shit except maybe a bird or, a snap of a branch because an animal's running through. That to me is the most centering and the most peaceful. And it's just like something that like there's a vibration of being in the wilderness that puts me at ease. Things make sense when I'm up there. That I like.
Yeah, I love that too.
Yeah. The ocean can eat shit.
Well,
the ocean can go fuck off.
when it comes to being in the middle of the ocean, I share this sentiment. Yes. On the edges, I'll take it all day.
The edges are gorgeous. I'm only kidding. I love it. Like I said, if I was going to live in California, I would live in Malibu. When we were getting our kitchen fixed at one point in time, so we could either like stay in our house or we decided to rent a house. So we decided I've never lived on the water. Let's rent a house on the water. So we rented a house in Malibu, and like in the morning I would eat breakfast, and it was like right there on the water. So the water's like right. It's incredible.
That's good.
I was like, oh, I get it. Yeah, I get it.
Similar to the mountain feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your go-to mountain range?
Wow, I don't know, man. I love them all.
Yeah.
I was just in the Tehachapi Mountains last week in California.
Okay.
which is gorgeous. The Wasatch in Utah is gorgeous. I love the Rockies in Colorado. I just love that when you're in unspoiled wilderness, there's just a vibe to it when you realize that these animals are out there just doing what they've done for thousands of years before humans ever even came around. There's something about that that's just it's very, very, very appealing to me. It's just gorgeous to be around. The view of it, I don't think there's a better natural art in the world than mountains.
It's good. Flea and I discovered it at 16. We were city boys. We didn't know from wilderness, really. Michigan, very flat. And there was a popular T-shirt that said, "Go climb a rock." And then on the back of the shirt, it said Yosemite. I was like, Yosemite? What is this Yosemite thing? And when we were 16, I said, Flea, let's get on a Greyhound bus and go see what Yosemite is all about. So we had like shopping bags of food, canned food, and a little nylon backpack with a blanket. And we took a Greyhound up to Yosemite.
Wow.
And took a gnarly trail. Like we went up Yosemite Falls and into the backcountry carrying sacks of food because we didn't know any better.
So this is the 70s.
Yeah, 78 maybe. But it was a game changer. We connected. We connected with that space and swam in rivers and made campfires and cooked food and saw those cosmos and maybe saw a UFO or two. And we've been back ever since. It was a moment where we tapped into something.
That's awesome.
And we wrote a song, an a cappella song, which we hadn't been doing up to that point together.
When did you guys first start making music together?
In 1983, we had this bizarre and beautiful friend from Arkansas, gay and black and fashionable, and very much on the scene of LA clubs. And Flea and Hillel and Jack Irons and Alan Johannes had all been playing in like new wave rock bands. But not me. I go, I support, I dance, I have fun. But this character from Arkansas, who was a real misfit and ahead of his time, said, "Why don't you let Anthony be in the band?" And they looked at him like, because he's not a musician. I don't know. Why would we tell Anthony to be in the band? Let him sing one song. And so they were like, all right, Anthony, go write some words, sing a song. And we did that, and it was so explosive and so chemically correct, the new guys together, that we couldn't stop. We just never stopped. That was just the beginning of a 40-year run.
And so you didn't have any inclination, you didn't have any aspiration? This one guy saying that to you?
To them. Like he said, let Anthony sing a song.
And
I was like, what?
You didn't
what's going on over there?
He didn't run it by you first?
No, but
Wow.
he knew that I loved to write poetry and dance and just emote.
Did you have an idea what you wanted to do with your life?
No. No, I started off thinking I would be an actor or a novelist, and then I thought maybe crime would work out.
What kind of crime?
Whatever was easy. But my father had kind of inserted enough art into my childhood with music and visual arts and just ideas that I was built of this stuff. I was built of words and sound and if you trace a musician's history back to when they're kids, it's never an accident that they ended up doing that for a living. Like if you look at Chad Smith, our drummer, one of the greatest drummers to ever walk the earth today. He's a phenom. But he was a little stoner living in the suburbs of Michigan who all he wanted to do was listen to music and be a part of music. But he was also a natural-born athlete. He was so coordinated. Pick up a golf club, boom. Go on the ice, play hockey, boom. He was just genetically coordinated. And then he played in 20 different rock bands as a kid, just honing and woodshedding and figuring it out until we met him when he was like in his 20s and hired him. If you look at Flea, broken home, but his stepdad was a jazz bass player who would have jam sessions in the house all day, every day. So there's a little boy just watching these jazz bands, and then he got a trumpet, and he realized if I play trumpet, people are going to notice me. So the little kid who wasn't getting much attention in this adult world of a broken home, suddenly people are paying attention and listening. And he had the discipline and the intellect. John Frusciante, his great-grandfather, immigrant from Italy, master musician. His father, Juilliard pianist. So from the time he's a kid, this music, like, let's see what you got. And then his psychosis and way of dealing with the world was, I'm just going to sit and play for 10 hours a day. So it's never an accident that these people end up where they end up. It's a lifetime of just everything working out so that that's your life.
So you had no aspirations of singing. This guy tells the band, let him sing a song. You sing it, and then was it immediately?
Immediate. It was too much fun. And the club owner, we played one song in a club. And Solomon Burke, this French guy who had started a club in Hollywood, charged the bandstand and said, will you boys come back next week? Maybe play 2 songs. We're like, we'll see you next week. And we went home and we wrote a song, and we came back next week, and it just never stopped.
Wow. And you were 21?
Yep. 21, homeless, sleeping in graveyards, backyards, park benches, back seats of cars, chaise lounges. But I now had a direction.
And you just dive right in?
Yeah, it stuck. It's what I wanted to do from that point forward. Started carrying around notebooks and just writing and figuring it out and listening more and more carefully to what these guys were playing. Where did I fit into this? Rhythmically, melodically. Learning curve.
Did you take any music lessons?
At the time, no. But then as the years went by, I realized I had to train my voice to sustain. And I also wanted to do different things with my voice. So I found some teachers, old school opera vocal coach guys and girls, which taught me a lot and made it a lot more fun and gave me a bigger playing field. But really, it's just about being present, being emotional, and listening to what's happening.
So what is the creative process like when you guys make a song? Do they have the music first? Do you have the lyrics first? Is it a combination of the two?
Zero rules.
Zero rules.
Zero rules, and it happens every which way, and it could be anything. Like, as the Red Hot Chili Peppers don't have it's got to sound like this or it's got to sound like that. It's got to be hard or it could be anything. It could be funky. It could be bluesy. It could be jazzy. It could be hip hop. It could be folk. We'll play anything. Anything that we feel like playing, which is also a blessing because less boxed in. But often John and Flea will stay home and go to their garage or their room or whatever and just play until they have something, a tidbit, a chord progression, a rhythm, a melody, because that's what they like to do for hours, just play. And they'll come to band practice and they'll say, what do you think about this? I'll be like, I love that, and I think I know what to do with that. And it starts there. And Chad knows what to do, and we just build together. Or I'll come in and I'll say, I have these words. They're looking for a home. What do you think? And John is exquisite at listening to what I'm doing. And, I kind of feel like I'm surrounded by geniuses and I'm a little bit of the idiot. But he's good at deciphering the idiot's genius. So he listens to me and he's like, I know what to put with that. And then it just grows.
And what is your writing process like? Do you write alone? Do you like to sit alone? Do you write with them around you? Like, how do you write?
I like to write alone, but I'm not afraid to write in a crowded room if it's flowing. I think the number one thing is just to write. If you go sit down and listen to music and get a piece of paper and a pencil or however you write, something's going to happen. Something always happens. Sometimes it's better than others, but if you make that time to write, something's going to happen. Or if you have an idea, no matter where you are, on a plane, riding a bike, sound asleep, you better get the fuck up and put that idea down, because that could be it. If it came to you, it means something. So yeah, I like to sit on my back porch with a boombox and play today's rehearsal and just sit there and write. And I owe some of that to my father, who kind of implanted that in me, the writing, the creativity, understanding words. But probably the most powerful thing that you could ever write is something that's honest. So playful's fun, intellectual is fun, interesting is fun, but when you crack into that emotional thing where it hurts, or just one of those moments of honesty, that's perhaps the most valuable.
That's the kind of music I think that resonates with people the most. I mean, people love all kinds of music, right? But there's something about when you know that an artist is saying something that comes from like the deepest part of their being. Like there's like some reality to what they're singing about. It at least represents some reality of what they're singing about, that it's a part of them. Mm-hmm. That it excites people so much, because you're sharing something. You're sharing like a part of your soul. You're sharing a part of your life experience. You're sharing a part of your personality. And you're doing so through your writing. You're doing so through your singing.
It resonates. We're all connected.
Yeah.
And when people are like, I know that feeling. I want to experience this guy's version of that feeling. I'm connected to that. The hardest of the hard, the gangsters of LA. I'll be riding down the Sunset Boulevard, and I'll hear Under the Bridge coming out of a lowrider, and it is the toughest, scariest, most loked out looking dudes just melting with Under the Bridge. I'm like, okay, that was a day well spent writing that song.
Do you always close with that song, or do you guys mix up your playlist?
We mix it up, but yeah, it's a meaningful tune. It has stood the test of time.
When you guys closed with it the other night, I was like, yeah, you kind of have to.
I owe a lot of that to Rick Rubin, that song.
He's amazing, isn't he?
He's all right.
What a trip.
He's all right.
He's such an unusual
For
person.
a beginner, he's pretty good. So we were writing Blood Sugar Sex Magic.
Yeah.
And at the time, we would just spend our days together. He was a lot less busy. He wasn't a dad. And we would just hang all day. What are you working on? Show me the songs you're writing. Because he was producing our record. And I showed him all my, sexy songs, heavy, funky songs. He's like, okay, that's good. We can work on that. He's like, anything else in the book? Just a poem that really isn't a song. I mean, it has a melody, but I don't think it's for us. Well, let me hear it. I was like, it's kind of embarrassing. It's a little sentimental. Love to hear it. It was Rick, because Rick knows, like, there's no rules. You want the thing that's not expected. So I sang him Under the Bridge, and he was like, that's your best song. I was like, it's just a poem. Bring it into the voice. Show him the song. So without Rick's push, for the counterintuitive, sensitive guy song, we might have never had a chance to write that.
There's some people in the world that are magic.
Yeah. I love Rick, and he is magic.
He's a magic person.
Yeah.
He has, like, when you're talking to him, like, he has a sense of ignoring the bullshit and just tuning into the magic. It's a very, and you could tell when you're talking to him, it's not nonsense. It's like a science almost. It's like an understanding of what it is. and he just follows that frequency. Just he chases it down.
Yeah, he's tuned into that.
Yeah.
He's very good at that. He's another person, if you look at his origins, it's no accident that he ended up being the person that he is. Single child, out in the suburbs of New York City, I think, Long Beach, Long Island. And he had an aunt, very cerebral boy, already just like very smart kid, but living a boring, culture-free life of the island. And he had an aunt who lived in Manhattan who loved her nephew. And every weekend or every other weekend, whatever, he would go spend with her. And she was cultured. She was like, we're going to the opera. We're going to the symphony. We're going to the museum. We're going to go see all this different stuff. And Rick was amazed by the music and the art and the culture that she was sharing with him that he wasn't getting in his home life. And he just started tapping into the magic and dedicating himself in a way that led to him starting his record company when he was in the NYU dorms. But it wasn't an accident. Like, he got fed the raw materials as a kid, and it opened up his dream.
And I think probably also being a single kid, you're not influenced by your siblings either. So you have a chance to sort of be who you actually are.
Less influence. He would get on a bus and go 200 miles to see James Brown when James Brown was still on tour by himself. And he would get there 5 hours early. They were like, you got to wait in the parking lot because doors don't open for 5 hours. As a kid by himself to go see James Brown. I was like, yeah, you're qualified.
Just out of appreciation, not even thinking there was a career involved in that. That's what's so crazy about his story.
Yeah.
There was no career to be that guy.
Nope. No, he invented a career.
Yeah.
There was no future in hip hop.
No, people looked down upon it. They thought it wasn't even music.
Yes. Call us back when you have some music, they would say.
Isn't that hilarious?
Yeah.
He was telling me the whole story of the connection between Aerosmith and Run DMC about people like, what the fuck are you doing? You're like ruining Aerosmith. And then the hip hop people are like, what the fuck are you doing? You're putting hip hop together with rock? What the fuck is that? And then meanwhile, it's like, oh my God, you just united two worlds.
Yeah.
He united two worlds and opened up a whole new realm of possibility for music. And he just did it by following magic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I met him in maybe 1985, and we were flailing. I was lost in a retarded sea of drug addiction. Just too thin to win.
How did that start?
Huh?
How'd that start?
I'll tell you, but first I got to share the little Rick tidbit. So I was basically a junkie, but still showing up to work from time to time, which was the basement of the EMI studios on Sunset Boulevard. They gave us a little basement to rehearse in. They had signed us. But we were going nowhere very slowly. Couldn't get out of our own way. But we were still making a buzz. There was still something exciting about us that caught people's attention. And it caught Rick Rubin's attention. And he was with the Beastie Boys, and they were exploding with success and greatness, writing incredible music. And so Rick brought the Beastie Boys to our dingy little recording or rehearsal spot, and he sat there, and we rehearsed while they watched. They're in these little dirty couches watching us, and we went through our songs. And Rick stood up and said, we're going to go now. And I was like, okay. Do we talk again? What's going on? We'll get back to you. Didn't see him for years. Years and years and years went by. Eventually, I got clean, and he came back and said, let's make a record. But I said, what happened that day? You came, and we played, and you disappeared, and I never talked to you again. And he's like, I thought somebody was going to get murdered in that rehearsal space. I thought somebody was going to die. I had to leave. That's how dark we had become. That's how dark I had become, is he was afraid someone was going to die, and it was time to leave.
Murdered.
That's what he said. He's like, you guys were terrifying. You were scary. It felt like somebody was going to die. We had to go.
When you look back on those times, do you understand how he thought that?
Not exactly, but everybody has their own perception, and there was darkness in the room when you're following that lifestyle. There's definitely instead of a magical energy, there's a very discernible dark energy.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize it was that dangerous. He was scared.
How did you get on the road, the drug road?
Well, I think the road was already in me from birth. A combination of predisposed to addiction physically, and then emotionally, I developed the tendencies that I needed to squash some of the noise. Spiritually, a little depleted. So I started smoking weed and loved it. It was a very fun and at the time subversive thing to be a part of. Like today, it's pretty damn common. But then it was very outlaw as a young teenage boy. And years went by and there was no problem. And then I started introducing narcotics at a pretty young age and really had nothing to say about it anymore. I was like the caboose of a train, just going wherever the hell that train said to go. It was interesting and it was exciting, but it was also painful as hell. It was just like, in the end, this is a life of suffering. Fortunately, you know, my destiny was meant to survive that. And, you know, it isn't really events or advice or anything that gives you the window to step out of that, but it's a little gift from the cosmos that just makes you look at yourself and say, I'm going to give you a chance. I'm going to give you an opportunity to put in the work to get better, if you so choose. If not, carry on.
What was the narcotic of choice?
Of choice, I would have to say the combination of heroin and cocaine was at that moment, at that point in time.
Do you remember what you started with?
Of those two?
Yeah.
I probably did the cocaine shortly before the heroin, but right around the same time, very young age.
And did you do it because it was the thing that people around you did? Was it just exciting? Was it rebellious? Like, what was it? Was it a part of rock and roll?
It had nothing to do with rock and roll or trying to impress or put on a pretense. It was happening around me in my world. It was exciting and dangerous. Like, everyone's afraid of that. You know, I think I'll do that thing that just the word scares people. But it was also a way of checking out. Like in the same way that, you know, one person will sit down in a bar and have some beers and just not stop.
Yeah.
You know, that allergic reaction
Yeah.
to the sensation of finding your medicine.
Right.
I had that reaction. Like I felt whole by putting these things in me until I had to pay the toll. You know, it's like you steal from Peter, you got to pay Paul the next day, and it's a terrible paycheck to write. Terrible paycheck to write.
I can only imagine.
Yeah. Yeah, it was finding the thing that I thought was going to make me well, but really it was just killing me.
And how long were you on that road for?
Well, I think I was 27 the first time that I was able to put in the work and get sober. And then I went to my young 30s and kind of forgot where I came from and forgot the process of maintaining. It's like you get physically fit, it's not going to be for life. You got to show up.
Yeah.
Or anything else, you know, your craft.
Yeah.
You put it down, it fades. So I had put down the craft of sobriety, and it opened an opportunity. And I ended up going back out there for a bunch of years, like 5 years, which was even worse because now I knew that there was a solution, and I was just ignoring it. So there was nothing fun about it. And then the window came back, and I had another chance to commit to sobriety, and I did, and that was 21 years ago.
How'd you get sober the first time?
So in a way, my best friend died, which did not instigate sobriety.
Did he die from drugs?
He did. But it definitely destroyed me emotionally. But I continued to use after he died. And then I got to the point where I could not turn off the noise with drugs and alcohol, literally flooding my body with the substance and still wide awake. So I was not getting the desired effect. I was like, this is terrible. Like, I'm putting all this poison in me and I'm still here. And I called up a friend, and rehabs were not a thing at that time. I called up a sober friend and I was like, what are those rehab things? I got to find one. He's like, the only one I know of is very expensive, 10 grand, which in the 80s for a struggling musician was a lot. I was like, I have 10 grand. That's exactly how much money I have. And I spent it. I gave my last 10 grand, my only 10 grand ever, to a rehab, and I went and I checked in, and there was 30 dope fiends in the room of all walks of life, but all with a common sickness. And the counselor said, I'm looking at 30 of you, and stats-wise, one of you is going to get sober out of here.
Wow.
And I was like, get out the way, because I'm taking that spot. I was such a little...
Competitive.
Yeah, it's an egomaniac. You're just like,
right.
I am taking that...
Right.
Please, you know, the rest of you can go back to where you came from.
Only 1 out of 30.
That's what he said to us. And there was like a guy from the SWAT team. There was professional athlete. There was just every variety of person in there. I was like, I'll take it. But then I realized there's a process to it, and there's a being of service aspect to it, and there's a becoming humble aspect to it all. And that was the beginning of me taking many years to go from being a complete idiot to only a partial idiot.
So how long is this rehab for?
That was a month, and it stuck for a long time.
So you get out.
Yep.
Fully clean. Did they try to get you to replace that habit with something positive, some sort of a positive habit?
So
'Cause I've heard that advice before to get people to try jogging, do yoga, do something you get addicted to.
It was more of a. There are lots of things you have to change about the way you're doing business with people in the world, but it's not really a replacement with an activity. Prayer and meditation was a part of it, something I had never considered before, getting still and quiet and connecting. Being of service was a part of it. Taking a look at yourself was a part of it. Admitting your faults was a part of it. Making amends was a part of it. And being present for the next person who needs that help was a part of it. So once you kind of get the gist and the gift and the experience of sobriety, when some new bastard shows up who's lost, you have to show up, because really the language of one addict talking to another is kind of where the magic happens, as it does when you associate with somebody who only can relate to a very specific experience that you've had. You could talk all day long to a normie and they're like, why don't you just put it down? I wish I could. It just doesn't work like that. So
I've never been addicted to a drug before, but is it like it's not necessarily physical, right? Because once you get the physical out of your system, the mental pull is still there, right?
It is physical because it's like an allergy. So yeah, you could get rid of the physical addiction, but then the minute you take that substance, whatever your addiction is, you react to it differently than a normal person. So that's the physical. Like a person who's drinking booze, the chemistry is physically different as it hits your bloodstream.
So you mean like you're naturally more physically addicted?
Yes.
And you don't think that has to do with your childhood or with trauma?
That's part of it.
It's part of it.
That's part of it.
So that's what naturally makes you more physically addicted?
No.
No.
So that is the
part of it.
emotional and or spiritual element. But the study that they do on people, the way they process alcohol is different. The
Right.
the
So
alcoholic.
there's a genetic variable as well.
Yes,
Yeah.
there's a genetic variable.
So was that the thing that got you off the wagon again?
No, painkillers from a doctor visit. And by the way, had I been fit with my recovery, it wouldn't have been an issue.
Did you have a surgery or something like that?
I did. I had a wicked 4 tooth surgery, and I went in there without my tools or my connection to where I'd come from. I had just kind of forgotten about it. Like, I'm good. I'll live and die sober. But I stopped doing the work.
And so they give you some sort of a painkiller because of your teeth,
I was done.
and you were right back.
Done. And I've since had all kinds of surgeries. No issue.
And did they put you on painkillers with the other surgeries as well?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
But, you're
Or
cool, but you understand it now.
Yeah, well, I went in there like, talking to people before I went in.
Mm-hmm.
And just, yeah, it's exercise.
Yeah, my friend Artie Lang, he had some really heavy bouts with drug addiction, and he had his nose collapse for a bunch of different reasons. One, because he snorted pills that were mixed with glass, because someone was crushing the pills up with like a salt shaker, and it had glass in it. Cut his nose up, it got infected, and he also got punched out by some guy who was an enforcer for a dealer or a bookie who he owed money to, and so his nose is collapsed, and he was going to get it fixed, but he can't, because he's like, I can't take the risk of getting back on the painkillers.
That's a choice I understand. Like the payment for going back to where he came from is too great.
Yeah.
There are people who can do it, like they go in there with a support.
Right, with tools.
With tools and with the connection and doing all of the things that you have to do to be well. But I understand his fear.
Yeah.
Like, to not ever want to go back to where he came from is a powerful thing.
It was so hard for him to get sober. And last time I talked to him, we did a podcast together, and he was so alive. He was so sober, and he was so funny. His fucking stories were so good. And he was like, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to take that fucking chance. I'd rather have a flat nose.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
I get it, man.
I'll take the flat
I fucking
nose.
get it.
Yep. Yeah, oddly enough, a lot of the addicts and alcoholics I know are the most interesting, and
Oh, my God.
it kind of comes
Yeah.
with the territory.
Some of my favorite funny people either used to be addicts or are addicts.
Yeah, Lenny Bruce.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Lenny Bruce.
Yeah.
Smart
Richard
guy.
Pryor.
Rich.
Sam Kinison.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever meet Richard?
I met Richard.
You met Richard.
Yeah, I actually worked with Richard for 5 weeks in a row at the Comedy Store before he died.
Damn.
Yeah.
Wheelchair?
Yeah, they had to carry him to the stage, and they would crank up the microphone, and he was really sick at the time.
Yeah.
He was on his way out, and I was 27. I was, just getting to Hollywood, just recently a paid regular at the Comedy Store. Had no business being on stage with Richard Pryor. And he would go on, and then I'd go on after him every night.
Who has business being on stage with Richard Pryor?
Nobody, right? He was a reason why I even understood what comedy was. When I was 15 years old, my parents took me to see Live on the Sunset Strip in the movie theater.
Uh-huh.
And I'll never forget, because I had seen a bunch of great movies like Stripes and, fucking all these funny movies. I had never laughed so hard as I was laughing at this guy who was just talking. And I couldn't imagine that this was, like, how is this happening? So I'm sitting in the audience, and I remember looking around while I was laughing, and people are falling out of their chairs. They're throwing their arms up in the air. They couldn't breathe. And I was like, this is amazing. All this guy's doing is talking. And that planted the seed in my mind about what stand-up comedy is. I never considered doing it at the time. I was just like, this is incredible. And I became like this giant fan of stand-up comedy from that moment. And then I started listening to his old albums, and I started listening to all sorts of different, like Cheech and Chong and Bill Cosby and all these different like stand-up comedy albums.
Those are good records.
Oh my God. And that, you know, was sort of like the beginning of my obsession with the art of stand-up comedy, was that one time seeing him in the movie theater when I was a 15-year-old kid. So
And
for
then
me to be sharing the stage with him 12 years later was nuts. Just nuts.
Was he still funny?
Unfortunately, no. No, he was, it was sad. It was sad, and the audience was super bummed out. And so I would have to like kind of like revive the crowd as best I could, you know, because he was gone.
Yeah.
He was medicated, and he was also drinking. So he was drinking and he was medicated, and they'd have to crank the microphone. Like, so he would go on stage, you'd hear, because the mic was just cranked because his voice was so soft.
In a way, he kind of earned the right to go out like that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
5
nobody
weeks
complained.
of unfunny Richard.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
I'm sure he had his moments, you know. There was some moments where he got some laughs, but for the most part, you would go on stage afterwards and people would look at me like this, like, fuck, like, what did we just see? They were coming to see Richard Pryor, their hero in comedy, and they got to see a great artist at the end of his line, you know?
Yeah. My jam with Richard was everything but Long Beach.
Oh, yeah.
That's my jam.
Oh, my God. That was when that guy came up to take a picture at the beginning of the show. I was like, hey, motherfucker, what are you doing? Like, I mean, people are coming to their seats as he's on stage.
Yeah.
Like, he's on stage and people are he's filming his comedy special as people are walking in and sitting down.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing.
Priceless.
Oh, my God. And it's a great special, too.
Yep.
It's a fucking classic special. That's a good one. I performed in that very same place, and that's all I could think of was, man, Richard Pryor. He did a special here. And there's only a few. He only has a few specials. You know, it's a very small handful. Some of the great ones are, there's cassettes that are available that you can now get on YouTube of him performing at Red Fox Comedy Club. Red Fox had a comedy club in Los Angeles.
Sold Out.
Yeah.
Called Sold Out.
And he performed there. I think it was just called Red Fox Comedy Club, wasn't it? Maybe he had more than
I
one.
think he's had a few.
Yeah.
And I think Red Fox turned into Sold Out.
But I bought the cassettes at a gas station. I was at like a truck stop, one place, and they
I
had
love that.
cassettes. And I was like, what is this? And they were just like raw recordings. You could hear the clink of ice cubes in the glass, and you could hear people in the crowd, and he was just riffing and talking shit, and it was amazing. And so, I mean, some of his great work is not on video. Some of his great work is really like cassettes.
Do you have those cassettes?
Oh, yeah.
You have those cassettes. You're taking good care of those cassettes?
I've got a lot of his stuff.
Did you
a lot of his old stuff.
digitize those cassettes?
Well, I've got digital copies of some of them. You can still buy a lot of them. You can still buy a lot of them online too, which is great. You know, that's a beautiful thing about today. Like, someone could tell you about a great song or a great album, and you can just go on your phone and get it.
Yes.
Like that.
I appreciate that.
I'll take that.
So we have a song. We wrote 50 some odd songs during the pandemic.
Oh, wow. 50.
Yeah. It was fun. It was easy. It was magic. It was when the world shuts down and you have your gang together to write. It was a special moment. But one of the songs, which did not make it onto either of our double records, is called The Comedy Store.
Oh.
And I knew it wasn't the most like original title or anything like that, but I have my connection to comedy, and John Frusciante has a deep love for stand-up comedy. He re-inspired my love for stand-up comedy when I met him in the late 80s. And so the Comedy Store song is kind of an ode to stand-up and the joy of, like, you know, sneaking in the back door of a club and catching a set and all these different little Hollywood references. But the chorus spoke to Dave Chappelle, who I love and admire. As a human being, we're all full of everything. But to me, he is, you know, kind of the the reigning king of stand-up. And I love a lot of comedians, but he's somebody who I can just listen to. And the lyric did not sit well with everybody involved. So sadly, that song sits dormant, not yet on a record. But I'm hoping that the energy will shift to the point where we can put out that song.
What was wrong with the lyric?
In my opinion, it was beautiful. And, we're also full of greatness and fallibility and mistakes and accomplishments. And so the lyric was Dave Chappelle for president. And it's in a really beautiful melody. And it's a very lighthearted statement. But because, there's kind of that tradition of campaign banners where it's like W.C. Fields for president.
Yeah.
And it just kind of fit into the chorus, Dave Chappelle for president. I wasn't like making a serious statement. It was just like...
I see what you're saying. So it was during the time of all of his controversy.
Yes. Yeah. But the song is so flirtatious and groovy and laid back, and you might just feel like you're in the mountains listening to the song. So someday I'll share it with you, whether it gets released or not. I'll trade you a copy of that song for a copy of one of your Richard Pryor cassettes.
Oh, okay. Beautiful. I'll send you those in the email. They're available. A lot of them are available online. The Red Fox ones. They're fucking great, man. Because you get to see them experiment. That's one of the joys of the internet today. Back when I was a kid, I had to find those at a truck stop. Now you can just find them like that online. It's like there's a beautiful thing about that. It's kind of, some of it's kind of fucked because like the magic of discovering this thing is not there anymore, because now it's available instantaneously, but still it's better that way.
It's different.
It's different.
It's different.
But it can reach more people. That's what I like about it.
If that's the goal, then yes, for sure it's more successful.
But I don't even mean more successful because he's gone. I mean, like right now, people listening can go. And one of them was called Playing Crap. What's it called? Craps? Something like that. I forget what it's called. But someone can listen to this and then go on YouTube and then bam, they can get it.
Yeah.
There it is. Craps.
Ooh.
After Hours.
Ooh, I like the cover.
It's fucking great. Yeah. So
I'm in. I'm sold.
How many minutes is that, Jamie? 32 minutes.
That's a great poster. I'll put that up in my bedroom.
Yeah, 36 minutes. It's fucking great. Yeah. And this is, probably, it's put online. Somebody put it online in 2011. They probably put it online after we talked about it. Because we talked about it way back then for sure. Because I talked about how great it was just to be listening to these live recordings from these comedy clubs.
It is a great thing.
1971 is.
There is something about the process of seeking out and searching and putting in the due diligence to find that, or to show up to the show, or go to the record store, that made it all a bit more cool.
Right.
That now you just tap that button and it's there. So you're reaching a larger audience.
I think you said it right. I think it's different.
It's different.
Yeah. It's not better or worse, right? It's different.
Same with rock and roll. Yeah.
What was it like for you guys when all of that the streaming thing, when it all came to be with Napster and there was this big uproar? How did you guys how did you feel about that when all that was going on? Because that was the giant shift, right? Napster was the great shift when the internet sort of realized like, oh, we could just get this stuff for free. And then, some people were furious about it. Like I interviewed Paul Stanley from Kiss once, and he was like, man, it's stealing. You're fucking stealing my music. And I was like, wow, that's an interesting way of looking at it. Because, like, some people didn't think of it that way at all. They thought of it like, well, this is a way my fans can get my music easier. And if you really want to support me and you like the music, go buy the CD too. But, like, I'm happy you got it.
I did not have time or energy to even care about it. Like, my focus was so just wanting to make good music and put in the effort that whatever happened to it afterwards, I didn't even care.
Well, you guys had already made so much money selling actual physical records by then, right?
What year did Napster happen?
I want to say it was like 99-ish. Is that it? Yeah.
I think we made our lion's share of cash flow in the 2000s.
Really?
I think so.
Well, people are still 100% still buying CDs.
Yes.
And when did it die?
10 years ago?
10 years ago.
Ish. I didn't care. Napster didn't bother me. It was like, if that's what's happening, that's happening. Really, I just wanted to be a good band member and a productive bandmate and do our thing and go play live, which you can't replicate.
Right.
You know, that's the thing that kind of kept us alive even when record sales disappeared.
Right.
When we go play live, people show up.
Right.
So I wasn't worried about the money, but I think even if that had happened earlier when I was less financially capable, I don't care. We were never in it for the money. The money was a bonus.
You would just be like, well, this is how it is now.
This is how it is now. We didn't miss a beat. We never wasted a moment. A lot of the people who are more commerce oriented, you know, fought tooth and nail, like this can't happen. And yeah, there's probably some injustices going on in there where corporations are taking advantage of
certainly
those opportunities. I don't have that much time and space to devote to fighting those. I'd rather spend my time and energy making something good.
Good for you, man.
Yeah, it's just
that's a great attitude, because like I didn't disagree with how Lars Ulrich felt about it. I understood what he was saying, but I was like, man, that's a bad look. It's just like you're so wealthy and so successful, and the people that are downloading your music for free are your fucking fans, and a lot of them are poor, you know, and now they can get it. And they can get it right away. And for you to call them like thieves and get angry and tell people not to do it, like, man, this is a new disruptive technology, and you're not going to stop it.
Definitely not.
And I think some people, maybe some older folks who weren't in tune with the new internet, like they thought somehow or another you were going to stop it. And I was like, man, you don't understand this, Genie. Because that bottle, that cork is off that bottle. And this whole thing this is the future, man. It's going to change for everybody with everything, whether it's with movies, with everything you could imagine. It's all going to be available now.
And people that fought it were really just losing ground. So our record company, Warner Brothers, were very slow to recognize the power of the internet. And they got hurt. And so we just put out a record a couple days ago, and another double record in the same year, which is kind of a beautiful thing. But the main guy from the record company showed up. Very lovely dude, cares about music, super into the band. And I was like, well, we have to make sure that this doesn't leak. This is 2 weeks ago. And he's like, well, we've kind of changed our tune on that lately. If it leaks, it leaks. So even these gigantic behemoth companies are now like, okay, so it leaked. It's
just makes it more popular.
Yeah.
Just more people tell people about it.
I don't care.
Good for you, man.
Yeah. I just want people to hear it.
You know, I believe that from you. Some people would say that. I go, he fucking cares. But for you, I really, really believe it.
It's easy for me to say I'm not missing meals.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't expect to sell records these days. That's not an expectation. There was a time when I did, but now I feel like music is made just to be played. We get paid at our live shows.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're doing just fine.
Well, it was sold out the other day, Zilker Park. It was fucking awesome.
Yeah, well, that's an institution, so I think that sells out no matter what. But
well, you guys are an institution.
Yeah.
You were one of those guys when I first met you. I was like, oh, shit, he's right there. It was weird.
When was that?
I don't remember. I don't know if we met. Our kids went to school together. I don't know if we met there for the first time or if we met at the UFC for the first time. I don't remember.
I feel like I met you in an arena like early in the day for some fights. Yeah.
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 And I was like, that guy's a UFC fan? That's wild. It was weird. I was like, I thought you were like this super, and you are this like super peaceful kind of hippie guy, and for you to be like really into the UFC. But then when we talked about it, I got it because you really respected the athletes and the difficulty of what they're doing and how tremendous the whole promotion was and the way they would put these fights together and the excitement of it all.
They're good.
Yeah.
That's a good promotion.
They're the best.
I adore combat sports. I adored boxing when I was a kid. Bruce Lee was everything to me in 1974. Everything. I built nunchucks out of a broom, put them in my back pocket, went to school. And the evolution of mixed martial arts is divine and one of the most exciting things that's ever happened to me in my lifetime. Like that, talk about lucky to be born at a certain time and place.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's exquisite. And the funny thing is, fighting outside of a ring or a cage or a mat, it crushes my heart. Like violence in real life kills me. Like pain. Put it in, like dedicate your life to the art and it becomes a chess match.
Yeah.
All day, every day.
Yeah.
I'm a super fan.
I agree. I'm not really a big fan of fist fights. I think
No.
it's fist fights in the street. I'm like, God, don't do that.
Don't do that.
Yeah, it's just like there's nothing in there for you. Don't do it.
Yeah.
And it's like just bravado and nonsense and just. But what I call fighting, like what I call it high level problem solving with dire physical consequences. And that's really what it is. It's like, to me, it's like just like this ultimately exciting endeavor. And I love it when someone like you appreciates it. It was very exciting for me to see you there because I was a giant fan of Chili Peppers, and to see that you actually appreciate it. You weren't just a guy there for a scene, because there's a lot of people that go there, they're just there for an event, which is great, fine. It's a great event. It's wild to see. But you actually were asking questions, and you were really into it,
Still am.
Yeah.
It does not fade.
No.
I watched Alexa point out her victory 2 nights ago, last night.
Yeah. Alexa Grasso. She's a beast.
Yeah, she's a beast, and she gets better with every fight.
Yeah.
I don't know that she's ready for Shevchenko.
I don't know if anybody is. That lady's a goddamn assassin.
No, we're not ready for that.
Whew.
Yeah.
She's wild.
But I love Alexa's trajectory.
Yeah. No, it's an exciting time, man. It's amazing, like, what the sport has become from when I first watched it in 93 or 94, I think was the first event that I saw, to I've been working for them now I've been working as a commentator for 20 years. And before that, for 2 years, I was a post-fight interviewer in the the late 90s, rather, 97.
Amazing. I saw that first UFC event. Compliments of Guy Osiri, who had a cable box, and he called me up on a landline and said, "There's a no-holds-barred fighting competition of one art form against another, and it happens in 30 minutes. Get over to my house." Wow. And we sat on the couch and watched that, and I was like, "That's interesting."
1993.
Yeah, this
Shout
is
out
interesting.
to Horian Gracie and Hoist Gracie.
Because back then it was like one against another, like karate versus jiu-jitsu, or
Right. Yeah.
Shudo boxing versus a bouncer, whatever.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's come a long way, but
Well, there's not really a sport that's evolved that much since 1993
No.
to 2022, where it's unrecognizable, the difference between the sport then and the sport now. It's unrecognizable. It's so much different. There's never been a thing like that where you get the chance to see a complete evolution of combat sports. Like, martial arts have evolved more since 1993 than they have in the last 10,000 years. And that is 100% undeniable fact.
pretty exciting.
It's very exciting.
Yeah.
It's very exciting.
I get excited when I run into somebody on the street who watched the fights the night before, because I'll sit there for 30 minutes and go over it. And,
To this day, I'm excited about it. To this day, me and Dana White, sometimes I'll call him at like 1 o'clock in the morning, and he and I will have 2-hour conversation about fights. Just 2 hours.
It's fun.
About this and that. I mean, we're both so we should be so jaded.
No,
we've both been
but the
involved for so
opposite.
long. It's the opposite. Yeah, it's amazing.
Yep, I love it. I love what you do for the sport. Nobody does it better.
Thank you.
And I love what Dana does for the sport.
He's the best.
Nobody does it better.
He's the best. He's the best front man that any sport's ever had.
I
ever.
think so. And he takes so much grief and gets so much hate. And he's done things that I am not down with. I hate politics in sports. I'd rather keep them separate like church and state.
Yeah.
But I don't care. He has given the world joy, and he's given opportunities and jobs for so many athletes. People like ignore the fact that he has given tens of thousands of people a dream and houses and food on the table. It's endless. I look at all these fighters, fighter pay is an issue. Yeah, I want fighters to get paid. I know thousands that live in houses that would not normally be able to do that because Dana works his ass off and he loves it and he cares and he's relentless and he put in the years. So many props to him for bringing those dreams to life, and I feel like I have to balance out some of the hate he gets.
Yeah, well, he's going to get hate no matter what you do. You're a person in a position like he's in, position of prominence.
Mm-hmm.
And, whether or not the criticism is valid, what is valid is the praise. When I introduce him, when I do the weigh-ins,
Mm-hmm.
I always say, without him, none of this would be possible. Because it's true.
Yep.
I know what that guy's done. I know the work that he's put in. I know how hard he's worked. And also, he's a guy who doesn't bow down to bullshit. He doesn't back off. And he kept that sport alive during the pandemic. When everybody was saying, you're crazy, you're going to kill people, we're all going to die. He was like, what the fuck are you talking about? We're going to test everybody, and we're going to put on fucking safe shows.
Yeah.
We're going to create a COVID bubble. We're going to make sure everybody's safe. And he did it. And he did it, and then everybody
got the
else
Apex
followed
out of
suit.
it.
Yes, we got the Apex Center. Well, the Apex Center was actually already in construction.
In construction, but we got
Yes.
fight nights.
Fight nights. We got to see some world championship fights at the Apex Center, which were fucking incredible. Stipe Miocic versus Francis Ngannou. Ngannou won the world title at the Apex Center.
Tough
It
night
was,
for Stipe.
oh, my God.
I don't think the hair helped his cause. he came out there with the fluffy hairdo. I was like, no.
I don't think that had anything to do with it. I think it was Francis had developed skills to match with his power, and he also developed patience,
Yeah.
He-
No. The
I know
hair,
what you're
the
saying.
hair threw me off. I was like, you're facing Francis. Come in with a buzz cut. Come in like
Well, he beat him the first time, and he was the first guy to beat him, and
cardio wrestling.
cardio wrestling and his chin. And I think, he took some tremendous shots in that fight. And I think that fight, sometimes you win a fight, but you take an amount of punishment that will change who you are.
Yeah. It'll
know.
show up in the next fight.
Yeah. It'll change who you are for the future. And you don't get through a 5-round fight with Francis Ngannou without taking some tremendous shots. They're talking about him fighting John Jones now, which is be very interesting.
Yeah. If the Stipe fight falls through with John.
Yeah, well, that's what I was saying. John Jones and Stipe. They're talking about John and
yes,
Stipe.
yes.
Yeah.
Great fight.
Yeah.
Competitive fight.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be interesting because we haven't seen John in a long time, and now John is huge.
He is.
Yeah, I mean, God.
Power lifter.
Yeah, he's fucking put on a lot of muscle. He's done it smart, taking his time, and I mean, he's got probably one of the highest fight IQs the sport's ever seen.
He does.
So I'm excited to see that.
If he was fighting Francis, I'd be a little more concerned. But I feel like Stipe is older, and that's to me seems like a competitive fight.
Well, I have a feeling it'll be one or the other. I don't know when it's going to go down. I don't know when that fight is going to happen. I don't know when John's going to make his heavyweight debut, but I'm very interested. Whether I'm there for that fight or not, I am watching.
Of course.
Look at this. John Jones still hopeful to make heavyweight debut at UFC
82.
What is 282? Is that December?
Yes.
Is that December
10th.
So I think the headliner in that is Glover Teixeira's rematch with Yuri Prohaska. Is that it? Yeah. That'll be a good one. You going to be there? You on tour still?
I'm off tour, and I'm moving to the Hawaiian Islands
Oh,
for
shit.
November, December.
Are you really?
Yeah. I need to go be on a mountain as an island.
I get it.
I have to unplug for a minute and just get in the
Which
ocean.
island?
I never met a Hawaiian island I didn't like. But I will be on Kauai.
Kauai is supposed to be amazing.
It's all right. It's good.
That's
It's good.
where
Yeah.
Laird and Gabby live.
That's right.
Yeah. Shout out to them.
Yeah, they're my neighbors.
Oh,
They've
nice.
always been very good to me.
They're great people.
They've been
I
very
love them
good.
both.
Yeah, they're amazing people.
Yeah, they really are.
They're stunners.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So sadly, if I was anywhere in the mainland, I would be at a bunch of these fights.
Yeah.
But I have to go.
I get it.
Yeah, I miss being at the fights so much.
I got to see one live here in Austin for the first time in 20 years as a spectator. It was
Right.
fucking amazing. And then I got to see one recently at the Apex Center.
Yeah.
Me and Tony Hinchcliffe and my friend Radio Rahim, we did a triple header combat sports. We did the triple crown of combat sports. We went to the Abu Dhabi World Jiu-Jitsu Championships. Then we went to the UFC at the Apex Center. Then we went to see Canelo Alvarez versus Triple G.
Amazing.
It was amazing.
What a day.
What a day.
Who is competing at the Abu Dhabis?
Well, it was Gordon Ryan and
The champ.
King. Yeah, and he
Damn, he's
dominated again. He's the best ever.
What the hell?
He's the best ever. He's fucking so dedicated, so smart, so driven, so dedicated, and he's only 27.
He's only 27.
Yeah.
He looks older.
Well, he's fucking training 7 days a week.
He's good.
Guy's an animal.
I love watching him.
Yeah, no, he's incredible.
I love watching him fight other super animals
and destroy them.
and destroy them.
It's crazy. He's taking the best of the best, and he makes it look easy. It's very strange. It's very strange how good he is. But
It
it's
is.
also his coach, John Donaher, who is a legitimate wizard. I mean, he's a guy who was a professor of philosophy at Columbia University and then fell in love with jiu-jitsu and became the greatest coach of all time.
That's the calligraphy thing.
Yes.
That you were
It's-
talking about.
Yep. It's also this no bullshit, no frills, no excuses, no nonsense, just pure analysis of what it is, of what the sport is. And because of that, they're ahead of everybody by leaps and bounds, by years.
Yeah. I'll check him out on YouTube
Yeah.
all day. Like,
Well, they have some matches here, too. It's really interesting. There's going to be one in California. I think he's competing in California. I want to say it's like they're having sometime in the winter. He's got a big match. I want to say it's February. There's a big match in California that I might fly in to check out.
if I'm back from down under, I will check that out.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
stay in touch.
Next week is pretty exciting.
Yeah.
For the MMA
Very
world.
exciting.
Yeah.
Very exciting. Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be there. I'm going to be in London. I'm doing the O2 Arena on that Saturday night that Oliveira fights Makachev. So I can't. I'm going to miss it. I'm going to see maybe if I'm hoping
You're halfway there.
when I get off stage, I'll be able to either watch it. I don't know how it lines up time-wise with London time. I'll either be able to watch it before or after I get off stage.
I think it's prelims start at 7 a.m. in California.
Oh, they're doing it that way.
Yeah.
Oh, so they're doing it on Abu Dhabi time. That's interesting.
You have a gig in London.
Yeah. I have a gig
Stand
in
up.
London. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where's that?
That's at the O2.
The O2.
Yeah.
Hot dog.
Yeah, it should be fun.
I've played there.
Yeah, it's great.
It's fun.
I've been there for UFC. I've never done the stand-up there. So that's Saturday night. So one way or another, I will watch the fight. Hopefully, if it's taking place while I'm on stage, I can like, blah, 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 not listening. And then I can get back to my room. And I don't even know how the fuck to watch it. I might have to do it through a VPN. you know, and pretend I'm somewhere else and then get online through ESPN Plus, because I tried it when I was in Italy.
It's hard.
Yeah, I tried watching ESPN Plus in Italy, and they're like, it's not available in your country. I'm like, fuck off.
Panic.
Yeah, what is this shit?
So I tour and I have that all the time.
What happened? What do you do it? How do you?
I text the UFC and say, please help me. I'm in Austria and I can't get the fights.
And they hook you up.
Yes.
Damn it.
I
might not know that.
Yeah. It's
Fucking, I work for them.
Desperation.
Well,
yeah. Oh, I hate that when they're like, yeah, we don't recognize your account here.
Yeah, fucking bullshit. Why can't you get ESPN Plus in Italy? That's stupid.
Regional.
Get it together, bitches.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, the hard part is also not finding out the results.
Right. Yeah, you got to plug your ears.
I'll get in the car.
Did you watch that? No! Don't
Flea is the great spoiler of all time. Oh, my God. I was like, I paused my computer. I was going to watch that when I got to the next hotel.
It's like checking your Christmas presents, though. You can't help yourself. Like, you almost want to see the results.
You do.
Anyway.
You do.
Like, just fucking tell me the results.
You do.
You know, you just almost go online and then enjoy the fight with the knowledge of what actually happened.
I can do that.
I can do that.
I can do that.
I'll still enjoy it. I've watched them multiple times. Like, I watched Leon Edwards versus Kamaru Usman. I've watched that like 3 or 4 times. I know what happened. I'll still watch it.
Yep. And by the way, it's still exciting. That
crazy.
moment.
That moment when there's a minute to go and he lands that head kick and you're like, no fucking way. It's one of those things where even though you know it happened, you still can't believe it when you watch it again.
You know who else can't believe it? Kamaru.
Yeah. Yeah, I talked to him. We did a podcast just a couple weeks later.
Yeah.
One of the things that he said, it was kind of a relief.
He did.
Yeah, it's like
the crown is heavy.
The crown's heavy.
Heavy.
Yeah.
Oh, put a kink in your neck.
It's a tough way to make a living.
It is.
Tough way to make a living.
But also, to Leon's credit, he never quit, especially after that speech between 4 and 5.
Yeah.
But also, he had the stamina to execute a powerful, fast kick 24 minutes into a fight.
Right.
That's hard to do.
And land it perfect.
You might be tired. Your muscles might be fatigued.
It was the perfect head kick. It was the greatest come from behind head kick knockout in the history of the sport.
He set it up.
While it was happening, I couldn't believe it happened. Like, while it happened, I was like, there's no way that just happened. Because he was losing the fight. And Dean Thomas was just saying, he's broken. It seems like he's broken. And then, whack.
Pretty good speech by his corner.
Oh, my God. And right after John Anik was saying that is not his nature to quit. Like, John Anik was just saying that it is not Leon's nature to quit. And then he lands that head kick. Boom.
John's pretty on it.
He's the best.
John
Anik is the best.
He's unbelievable.
He's the best play-by-play guy in the history of the sport.
I think he cares about his job.
The best. He's the most informed. He's the most in tune. He's the smoothest. He's a fucking master.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Mike Goldberg was excellent at it. There's a lot of people who are excellent at it, but John Anik is on another level.
He's good.
Yeah.
He does his homework, too.
He very, very, very much does. Yeah, and he's a great guy, too. I love him to death.
And he was correct.
Yeah, he was fucking, it's like prescient. Like, he nailed it. He said it. Listen, I love you. It's always good to see you. I appreciate you coming in here.
Thank you. I love you, too. And you know what Albert Einstein said to his daughter at the end of his life? My only regret is that I didn't express my love more deeply while I was still around with you.
Oh, that's heavy.
He said it was the most powerful force in the universe, more powerful than anything else. Love.
Well, it definitely is for people.
Yeah. Yeah, that's who we are.
I don't think black holes give a fuck about your love, but I could be wrong.
No, but our love could help us figure out a way to coexist with the black hole.
Yes. Yeah, or survive long enough and not kill each other to the point where someone can figure out how to
I'm not
coexist.
getting in the octagon with a black hole.
No. Doesn't seem like a wise choice.
No. I love you, and thank you for having me. It was great talking to you.
It was fun.
Until we meet again.
Until we meet again.
And I'm going to check out the 5 rings.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Bye, everybody.